Namaskar, this is me, Sanya Raj, back again, and I'm going to be talking today again about Sushant Singh Rajput and Jiya Khan's case. We're going to be talking about these cases and many such cases probably, but today we're going to be focusing on Jiya Khan's and Sushant Singh's case because it's been so many years. With Jiya Khan, it's been almost 8 years. Her mother has been fighting. And with Sushant's case, we all know it's been a year. And we wonder what's going on? Who is responsible for such cases to get solved? We wonder who is in India. Is the system which is a problem? Or are the people behind are the problems? Or who can take the responsibility in the Justice Department? Are the agencies to be blamed? Who are? It is not about getting the blamed, but it is about who can solve the problem, who can actually come and say that, yes, we are working on it. There is none there, there are no authorities who are coming forward. There is none who is taking the responsibility and saying that these people, these young people who were the future of our India, they were not just wonderful human beings, but they were also people who would make India proud. And today, because of these unjustful behaviors that's been done in India, these young people just lost their lives without purpose, without reason. And we are here to talk about these things today with the mother of Jiya Khan, who's been fighting strongly from last 8 years. And she has promised herself that she will never give up because she believes in divine justice. She believes the truth must come out. And we all SSRians are here to support Mrs. Rabiya Khan. And we have also Deepti, Pinniti, who's also talking about the same things, who is going to be also giving us lights upon the cases for both Jiya Khan and Sushant Singh Rajput. So please join me with Mrs. Khan today. I'll just put her in. Hello, ma'am.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm okay. It's been, I have been away from my country because it's a lockdown. We're still in amber, so I don't want to quarantine at home. So I'm away from my home. Yeah,
Absolutely. We are connected again, ma'am. We are here because it's this story, which is a never-ending story for both you and many of us people who are fighting for justice for the young people who just lost their lives. And one of them is your own personal daughter. And I can imagine the pain you're going through every single day of your life. The least one can get is the closure in the name of truth and justice. So, ma'am, just let us know what is the latest which is happening in Jia's case.
first of all, we had been yesterday, the legendary Dilip Saab passed away. And I believe the Bollywood industry was, mourning and was some of them were very devastated. Obviously, it's a you know he's an icon, and he led a very beautiful life and a very spiritual life, not like so many others. And what surprised me that when Sushant, Jiya, and Disha Salian, their lives were taken away, not one Bollywood icon shed a tear or even spoke about it. You see, there is a natural age declining, everyone has to die. But when it comes to somebody's life taken, I think we all should be alarmed and we all should raise our voice. That is, in fact, a most heartbreaking. Even if I say, suppose, let's say hindsight, if somebody has taken their life in their own hands, even that is a very severe mourning. That is also very, very painful. That what was the situation? Why did somebody do that? Do you understand me? It is, if somebody dies with corona or some kind of natural diseases or accident, those are different, aspects of death. But this, where somebody within our society, within our community, behaving normal and yet not normal, takes away somebody's life, that's very alarming. And I think all the icons and everybody should be alarmed and should raise voice. At least they should have said, what happened? We should find out. How did that happen? Is it really suicide? So bring the evidences of suicide. Bring all those evidences. Do you understand? And if it is not, then look at as murder. Who did it? Who is among us? Who is an outsider? I was reading recently regarding a police inspector who has filed an FIR against Parambir because one of the constable lady police was murdered, and it was claimed that it was suicide. So now you can understand that how the police officer turns murders into suicide. And he was very blatantly saying all these deaths like Disha Salian and Sushant Singh and Mansukh Heran, they are all been killed. But because Parambir was the CP, he converted all these deaths into suicide. And in during my case, now Parambir is also seeing other senior officers copying the same thing, had been doing. So it is not just Parambir who has, brought this new agenda. It has been going on because in my case, the ACP then told me, get me more evidences that I can. Am I supposed to get them evidences? Am I the investigating officer? What is police for? Who are they policing? So do you understand that how these deaths were converted from murder to suicide? I had been mourning for Dilip Saab because I was a great fan and I admired him, and we all have grown
Exactly.
watching him and taking him as a mentor. But these children whose life has been taken, they could have been tomorrow's legends. They could have been also, Sushant could have been, probably equivalent to Dilip Saab or higher. Who knows? They never got the chance.
Mm.
And at that time, when Sushant passed away, when Jiya passed away, all people, who did not even know them, but somehow knew the father of the accused or someone or the other, they, they were in fact defending the criminals.
Yes.
They were defending the criminals, saying that, oh, if somebody's state of mind is like that, then why blame anybody else?
Right.
Excuse me, you don't even know what state of mind Jia was in. You never knew her. You definitely know I'm referring to Kangna Ranawat,
Mm.
with all my respect to her great talents.
Yeah.
But she knew the father.
Mm.
I have to say this, Sanya. Sorry that I'm bringing it up. It just came, into my memory that I gave her that she was a voice of SSR,
Mm.
but she drove it to nepotism. And
Mm.
when she drove it to nepotism, this Parambir and the police officers, they took her words so serious that they called all those high fly Bollywood actors like Karan Johar, like Leela Bansali, and all these people, and interrogated them. Whether they interrogated or offered chai and biscuits, that's a different issue. But the investigation went into that direction. Now, when Deepti is coming with these slides, for example,
Mm.
I have been listening to her on Nina's platform, on your platform.
Yeah.
Not a word of any Bollywood actor, not
Mm-hmm.
a word from any, mainstream channels
Mm.
pointing out,
Mm.
wait a minute, what is this? You know, let's listen to it,
Mm.
because it is a narrative by the mind of that person who has created these slides.
Mm.
And I am saying to these police officers and CBI
Mm.
that when you are saying we are investigating Sushant's case. Excuse me, you have not even investigated Jia Khan's case, which is 9 years now down the line. You are now asking for the evidences from the court because
Mm.
police never gave you.
Mm.
So who are you going to investigate? You have never interrogated the even suspects. So
Yeah.
interrogation or investigation means that you go and find the light in the darkest corner,
Mm.
right? If Deepti is narrating these slides, it is the duty of CBI to contact her and to find out and go through it and see whether they are authentic or they are fake or whatever. But at least say something.
Exactly. Exactly.
Am I?
Ma'am, I'm totally with you. Absolutely, I'm with you. The thing is that in Jiya Khan, in your daughter's case,
Yeah.
what I understood from you was that they were asking you the evidences, and then when and on what basis they have put the charge sheet, because they says that we cannot even open the BlackBerry, as you were saying. They're saying
Yes.
that, and there is no dupatta, there is no that thing that they said that she took a suicide. Where are those evidences? And they have the audacity to ask you. I don't even understand this dynamics.
I did not. I mean, it's very absurd for the police to say that bring something that I can tell the higher officers that this is a case of murder, right? When
Right.
CBI officer met me in London, they said, "Madam, we know it is murder, but now we have to collect evidences to bring the perpetrator into trial." Right?
Right.
Now, how they will do it, they have all the means and competency to do that. I am
Right.
not an investigating officer. I am a mother.
Hmm.
I have raised many questions. Sanya, have you ever heard criminal answering any of my questions
Hmm.
or even raising questions
Hmm.
after looking at the pictures of the injuries?
Hmm.
After going through all the all these courtroom dramas and all, they had been only opposing me. Like for instance, the photographs of Jiya were not part of the charge sheet. I had
Hmm.
to go through Supreme Court to put it in front of the judge of the
Hmm.
trial.
Hmm.
So photographs, the person is gone, and the photographs is the evidence, true evidence.
Hmm.
Same thing in Sushant's.
Hmm.
Now, if the photographs are not going to be acknowledged by CBI or the police,
Hmm.
then what are you going to investigate? What questions are you going to ask? Same thing is with Deepti slides.
Hmm.
When you are not going to read it and look into it and call those all those people whose names have been mentioned,
Hmm.
then what investigation are you talking about?
Exactly.
Who are you going to prosecute? And when the prosecution will start, what are you going to take it to the prosecution?
And ma'am, in your case, with your efforts, with your driven nature that you wanted to get the justice, you made sure that the charge sheet was on. In Sushant's case, there is no charge sheet. So I don't
Look,
understand what CBI.
this happened because one of the officers, senior officer in the police, wanted to punish the perpetrator, right? And he was told, okay, you do that, but you know, don't be so harsh on him.
Exactly.
So he told me that he wants to punish him,
Hmm.
but he gave punishment of 21 days. Now, what happens that once you punish, you
Hmm.
cannot, CBI cannot come and punish him, CBI
Hmm.
cannot take him in custody. So, you see, those doors are shut. Now, even Riya Chakravarti and others who have been taken into custody, into police
Hmm.
custody or ED's custody or all, then there are laws that defend them from going into further custodies.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is so many twists and turns in law that somehow they they get away with murder,
Hmm.
but they don't get away with it easily. There is a very high fees for that,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
in because of that, you know, because they are rich, they are able to pay the fees,
Hmm.
and they get away with it. No questions are asked, and we become the dumbest, and we become the people who are questioning their integrity.
Hmm. 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 Exactly.
And they look at us and stare at us and give us such a blank gaze as if we are the foolish ones.
Ma'am, you also mentioned the other day that a lot of people in the agencies were talking that it is the system. The problem is the system. So the question is raised to them that who is system? Isn't the people who are running the system a system? Who is system? That we always blame the
Uh,
system.
Let me tell you, the police does their job they very neatly to sabotage the case,
Hmm.
what suits them.
Yeah.
Then comes the lawyers, right? Now, system is law and enforcement. So,
Hmm.
who is the law and enforcement? Basically, it is police's job.
Hmm.
A victim doesn't have to hire a lawyer.
Hmm.
If I had hired a lawyer at that time, from the day one, from that moment, and prevented everyone to come into my room, if I had that knowledge, then things would have been different.
Exactly.
Here, they do not allow the real people, and they allow all the riffraffs to walk in and sabotage the crime scene. And they say this is a police case and the police will handle it and police have to be trusted. That's where we go wrong, because that is the golden hour, and this is what I have learned. And then after that, you keep on fighting for 20 years, 25 years, till you're alive or you're dead. You know, you keep on doing it because the system is such. When you talk about what is system, is not brick and molten. System is people. So,
Exactly.
and system works with is a machinery which works with money and power and status. So the influence works very, very well over here. So it's the influence that moves this machinery, and it works from the level from the the saddest part is these things happen in the West also, but on a very higher level. But in India, it happens in such a low level that even the peon can be bribed, and the pages from your chart sheet or from your documents can be removed. So what is judge doing? Then you count the integrity of the judge, and the lawyers will start giving you lectures. Oh, the judge, that this judge is like this. They give you the biography of the judge, that this judge is A1, this judge is B1, and this judge is a C grade. So you have got, this judge is very tough, this judge has got guts, and this judge cannot be cannot sell his soul. I mean, these are the descriptions you get. I tell you, for me, this journey was such an agony, that it was adding fuel to fire, fuel to my agony. And I was wondering, what am I going through? Why am I going through? What am I trying to tell people, that this is the truth, where they can see the truth? I mean, I lose my words when I describe the system. Now, what is system? They are the system. And they say the system is bad. Excuse me, you spoilt my case. You have not done your homework. There are times that my lawyers have not spoken in high court for reason best known to them, which annoys me because I am paying the fees.
Exactly.
You see, the machine is working. I am paying the fees for a lawyer to represent me, and then he doesn't speak, or the court has been managed. So I am looking at it today. It's been 1 year, and what is the system is trying to clean itself from ED, from NCB, from this, but the real time is being wasted in Sushant Singh's case by
Exactly.
not investigating.
Exactly. And the thing is, ma'am, because they
And
what
in my
kind
case, no,
yeah.
Sanya, in my case, the investigation was not done. The charge sheet, coming to your question, that the charge sheet was filed because the police filed the charge sheet. And that was an incomplete charge sheet, in which there were evidences were not there, but God knows what stories were there. So those very stories, all the statements were written by the police. They were written by the police. And they were, including, I mean, I don't want to go on that. We've got so much other stuff to discuss, that the statements were not taken by CBI. They were all cut and paste. And all that charge sheet that was filed was in a rush, because I brought 4 forensic reports that pointed my daughter's case as a case of murder. Very categorically, it said that this is a case of murder. It is a staged homicide, but not a case of suicide.
Okay.
Like, I mean, Sushant's case, it is so evident. You look at Jiya's pictures, it is so evident. A common person, a little child, maybe a 12-year-old, can say, no, this is not by hanging. because the way the injuries are on her, it is not by the muscle in dupatta. So the evidences are destroyed or hidden from the facts. So what does the judge gets? I am absolutely devastated, and now they are tiring me. They are blaming the system. Basically, they are blaming themselves that they are not doing the job.
Hmm.
That's what I will say.
I'm with you, ma'am. And this is something which this is what is painstaking. When a mother like you, when a mother like you who takes the responsibility, who goes out and does the job that these authorities, these agencies are supposed to do, you come and become their aide, and then they come back and tell you that what can we do? We don't have, the proofs. And once they have the proof, the reason I find it so ridiculous that they say that they cannot open the BlackBerry, and if you ask them that can you give me, he says you will tamper. So I
Yes.
don't understand where do they want to reach by this kind of
Yes.
behavior.
So Sonia, now you know what is the most hilarious part. The hilarious part is that CBI said they have done the investigation, right? And we said no, they have not done the investigation. They have. There were many points that the questions that CBI needs to answer, so they have not done it, and they need to answer us. We never got those answers. Then I said the CBI says that the BlackBerry cannot be opened, looked into. The forensic department is saying that if they will try to, then they will lose the data. So that means everything is there in the BlackBerry. I go to High Court and the judge asked me, Miss Khan, do you want your daughter's phone? I said yes, I do want. The CBI says no, no, no. She will tamper it. Excuse me, when you couldn't tamper it, when you couldn't open it, from your forensic laboratory couldn't do it, how will I do it? How will I do it? They were afraid because they know that I will send it to FBI and I will have it investigated and give them the file.
Yeah.
So they know. Now what happened in Vaze's case? When in Antalya case, they went into the rivers and they got all the hard drives and they looked into it. They were they looked very destroyed, but they were not destroyed because even FBI says that these things in the digital form cannot be destroyed. So nothing is destroyed. So now what is happening when CBI is asking now the trial court, the defense has got a point. Excuse me, the CBI said we investigated it, we don't need it. And now why CBI is saying that we have got to investigate it? So it is falling because the previous officer who you pressurized or influenced or whatever you did a shady job, right? And now the new officer is raising questions. So obviously, these questions will arise, and it will be out that the previous officer definitely did not do his homework. So now the officers change, the judges change, the lawyers change. So it is always the beginning. It is never an end, never a closure, but always the beginning. We
Exactly.
are exactly there, where we were in square one on the same
Ma'am,
platform.
one more thing. You said that the dates, they keep increasing the dates.
Yeah,
They
this
keep
is
telling,
right. Yeah, this is what right now. Okay, it's about because of the COVID, so they are taking the priority cases and whatever. So this is not a priority case. Somebody's child has been killed is not a priority, but somebody's money has been taken or squandered. That's a very big priority. Why? Because there is a vested interest. The money is involved. Or property, the money is involved. Here, what is the money? My daughter has been, her life has been taken away. It's not their priority.
that is the problem. That is the problem. And then I also like the point is you said the words that really is very painstaking that they're tiring you out. And I think this is what the systems are doing.
Then they should remove all the murderers who have all the criminals who are in the prison. You know why they are inside? Why are they? Because I have attended courts and I have seen police bringing evidence, police taking out the photographs and showing to the judge that this is not the case of suicide, this is a homicide of somebody else's. And it was in my case, the police does not even put photographs in the charge sheet. They don't.
They don't.
So what do I make out of this case? That police is deliberately trying to protect the criminal.
Mm, mm,
And the answer is, they say, oh, but we don't want to alarm the defense.
mm,
What is there to alarm? You know it very well. You are police officers. You have more trainings.
mm,
You have the whole psychology of criminology.
mm, mm.
You can sense it. You can smell it. You are the tigers. I mean, I just don't understand.
And that is something. It is, as you're rightly saying, that there is everyone has a common sense. Everybody is understanding that it cannot be possible that these people don't use the proofs they have, and they just say that we cannot open it. I mean, how ridiculous it sounds.
Listen, if you will see the first picture when the accused was arrested, you look at his body language, you look at the guilt on his face, look at the body language of father, look at the I feel, I mean, being a mother, it's definitely very sad to know what a sleepless night a mother will have to know that a child is criminal. But look at the body language of the media and of the accused. If he was not guilty, his body language would have been different. If he loved us so much, and you know, why, if when he had been torturing and beating Jiya, which he admitted, on his father saying he deleted all the BlackBerry messages. In 1 minute, the police is saying on his father saying he deleted it. Then they remove it from the charge sheet and they put something else. Then they remove that, and so is it the police who's constantly changing statements? Or is it the accused who's constantly changing statements?
Mm,
So the both police and accused both go into the same boat.
mm,
So not once, if he was not guilty, he would have said, I want to find out.
mm,
If he thinks the family is guilty, he would have fought tooth and nail to bring the family to the to crucify them.
mm.
Am I right or not?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right?
And
What has he ever raised questions?
mm,
Has he ever raised anything? In fact, 2 months later, they come on a cover page of a society magazine saying
mm,
we have no sympathy for the mother. What
mm,
for? The
mm,
same mother that you are claiming, I want to have a mother like her. She's my second mother. I love her more than my own mother. I've
mm,
got all those letters.
mm.
And now you are saying that I have no sympathy for what?
I can't hear you, ma'am.
Pardon?
Yeah, now I could hear you. Mm,
You see, he wrote to me. He wrote to me saying, I want to have a mother like you. I'm so blessed to have a mother like you. I love you more than my mother.
mm,
And then 2 months later, you know, after taking away my daughter's life, you say I have no sympathy for mother. Why? What is it that I told him? The only thing I told him what he wanted. He wanted space, so I told him, Suraj, give my daughter space because you want space.
right.
That's all. Leave her alone
Mm,
because you're playing too many games.
mm,
And that's a very, and then they say, oh, it was a breakup to ho jata hai. That breakup story was concocted by the police. CBI has put it very categorically in their charge sheet
mm,
that the breakup, there was no breakup bouquet. The bouquet was sent all the best,
mm,
and this story was concocted. The police officer himself told us that I had to create this was my intellect, that I created this story because I want to punish the guy.
mm,
Why are you punishing the guy?
mm, mm,
Or
mm,
you are creating a story, you should be punished
mm,
because you have created a story. You have removed the fact and created a story. You, police officer, should be questioned and you should be behind bars and you should be, put charges against destroying evidences. The
right.
father who has destroyed evidences, Anju Mehendru and Moin Beg who have destroyed evidences and destroyed statements. Moin Beg says, oh, he has been unnecessarily accused of of a murder that he has not done. Who accused him of murder? They have accused him of abetment. So the father is saying in the documentary, I heard his interview, where he says, "Oh, I asked my son 3 times, did you do it?" Why did the father ask the son, "Did you do it?" Because the father knows he's capable of doing it. These are not my words, these are the interviews that they have spoken. The guy who came there to destroy the evidences, Moin Beg, he says that Suraj is accused of the crime he has not done. How do you know? Were you there, standing there when he was provoking Jiya to commit suicide? So why are you standing? Are you the investigating officer? Again, they sabotaged, completely cleaned the evidences.
Yeah.
And giving wrong statements. The knot was on the right. There was injury on the left. How will a knot create an injury on a left when a knot is on the right?
Exactly.
And he's saying there was knot all over. So how long was the dupatta? So the police, wrote the statement because they have a habit of saying anything. So I don't know, my heart goes to SSR and Disha, how they are going to clean up and how they are going to fast track this case. I have no idea. Definitely big names, influential names are involved in it. And that is why they are taking so much time. But this is not called justice.
No.
Tanya, this is very sad. And if this is the way the nation is going to be, I don't know. I have my prayers, and as a mother, my cry to the Prime Minister that please, beside you, there is no one. God has placed you in that place, and you hear our voice and you hear our cry.
Totally with you, ma'am.
I am not creating fiction over here. There is a case that has been fixed.
I'm with you. And ma'am, this is something, it's a matter of concern for our, Indian judiciary system. It is a matter of concern about the agencies, the organizations who are working with such cases. And of course, it is a matter of concern to the central government. Also, the state government, of course. We've heard a lot of such cases, but the state government and the central government, now it's in the CBI. It has to have the central government. We have to raise questions to the central government. What is it happening? And why can't we? As we said now, like, let's hope that Deepti comes because she's maybe in some, I don't know, she's not yet been able to join us. But this lady has been, screamingly saying things around, case that they feel they've not even put the murder charged, like they've not put charge sheet on him. So it cannot be on a murder issue. They don't think yet it's a murder because they haven't put the charge sheet at all.
Tanya, he admitted beating her. He admitted, deleting evidences, right? He admitted to police and CBI. Even then, no charges are there. And it is like in Bollywood, icons are beating women, abusing women, exploiting women, extorting women. Everything is acceptable. And yet, people, I have stopped watching, especially these iconic films. They are not icons, they are monsters. They are monsters, and I don't want to watch their films. But we have to sabotage them.
Absolutely.
There are many other. There has to be a clean industry. There has to be some cleanup. You cannot do such things because Sushant Singh was also a star, and you're giving him no platform of a stardom, not a word. And people are so afraid if they will say a word, the cabal is going to get after them, and their jobs will be taken away. I mean, there's so much fear that has been created. It is not the Bollywood of Dilip Kumar's time, or the time that great legends used to entertain us.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think so. These very icons will ever get such a state honor when they will pass away, like how Dilip Kumar was honored. I don't
Absolutely.
think so because they have, that arrogance has gone, and money and power has gone so much into their head that they've forgotten themselves. They've forgotten humanity, and they call themselves, humans. They have forgotten humanity. Not a tear, not a tear. And everyone was going after nepotism. Where there is no nepotism, you tell me. If I have a company and my child is worth it, I will put my child into a position which that she can take over. Nepotism is everywhere. Jiya and Sushant and all, they were far beyond nepotism. If nepotism was the fear in their head, they would have never joined industry.
Mm. Absolutely.
So, that very word of Miss Kangana Ranawat was taken so seriously by the police because it suited them.
Exactly.
It suited them. They never looked. They diverted the whole attention of murder.
Mm. For nepotism. Mm.
Yes, and Riya Chakravarti, for example, being the love of his life, or as I'm reading from Deepti's slides,
Mm.
it is very clear that he understood that she's planted. He understood that she's not there for him. I
Yeah.
was listening to the ninth slide of hers,
Mm.
where my heart was bleeding and I cried. And I remember I had a sleepless night. It is just last week
Mm.
when I heard that he was called and forced to meet the Bollywood star. And in that meeting, he was beaten.
Mm.
He was beaten in areas where, bruises were not, injuries were not shown, but he went and quickly got himself admitted to a emergency hospital. And
Ma'am, the volume. Yeah. No.
yeah, he got himself admitted, and had wanted to hide from his family the whole incident so that they don't get worried and not
Ma'am, the volume. Can't hear you. The volume is gone. And so I don't know, it must be some technical hitch. uh, Mrs. Khan is happening, but she was just trying to tell us about how in we will be, hopefully we'll be having joined Dipti. Pinniti had to join us today, but somehow she's not been able to join us for some reasons. And now I think Mrs. Khan is going to come back, hopefully. And what she's trying to tell us is basically that last week, Deepti Pinniti, who has exposed some of the proofs, what uh, Sushant has been writing in his diaries, and it's very shocking. I was very sad to hear that, how he's been beaten up, how he's been called by few elements in Bollywood who think that they are larger than life, who think they have much more power than the Almighty Himself. And he was beaten up. He was beaten up in those places where you can never see those blue marks. And he was a smart guy, Sushant Singh Rajput. He admitted himself. He admitted himself in the hospital, and there were so many other things that he's written. I'm going to put Rabiya Khanji in his.
am
So
I yeah,
sure, yeah.
sorry.
So you were talking about he was beaten up.
Yeah, yeah, I was talking about Deepthi slides that I was going through.
Yeah,
And yeah, I want to emphasize that if CBI is investigating Sushant's case, I am very surprised they did not get in touch with Deepthi and have not taken the slides seriously.
right.
Because, as again I'm repeating, investigation means you find light in the darkest corner.
Yeah.
In my case, CBI was getting a lot of diversions, and they were coming with many questions, which I had to say, no, excuse me, my daughter did not know this one. No, my daughter did not know that one. Coming up with some strange names and all like that, that they were being diverted into, oh, Jiya, had this boyfriend, Jiya had that friend, Jiya had this. I mean, all that nonsensical people. If it was like if they were talking about Akshay Kumar or Sajid, or that she was acquainted with, or she was friends with, or she was close with, then I would have understood. But they were coming with names that were not even relevant in Jia's caliber or diary or inner life. So here Deepti is reading something and claiming openly that these are Sushant's pen drive and these are her slides, encrypted slides, which I am reading still. So by being silent, you're not showing that you are the truth is not there. By
Exactly.
them being silent, it does not define that Deepti is lying.
Exactly.
It shows that you are not serious about your investigation. It
Absolutely.
shows that you are being, you're taking Sushant's death as, you know, as no next to you.
Absolutely.
So Jia's and Disha's and because big names are involved, because big people. Who is big people? Who are these people? So you know them. That is why you're hiding them and protecting, and not if you did not know, then you will look into Deepti's slides. You will come and question me. Or not one question has been raised.
Yeah.
I have raised multiple questions.
Mm. I'm with you. Ma'am,
I
can
remember,
you just
I
can
remember,
you, can you
Sanya.
just go through the
This is a
slide
very
and
important point, Sanya. This is a
yeah,
very important point.
yeah,
To the height that how officer must have been pressurized not to investigate my case was when I was in Delhi with in CBI headquarters and meeting the important people over there.
mm,
The senior officer asked the officer in charge,
mm,
"Where is the ligature?
mm,
Where is the ligature? Why the ligature has not been collected and not given to the forensic? Where is the phone? Where are these devices?"
mm,
So now
mm.
you understand. I think from this, you can understand what the answer was. The officer was not able to give any answer. And that is why today they are asking the court to give those evidences
I'm with you.
because of the forensic CBI forensic report is inconclusive.
Mm.
And police never did anything. What police did, wherever there was light, they were hiding, they were either silent about it or covering it. And that is exactly what is happening with Deepti.
Exactly. I'm with you. And it is like, ma'am, the thing is, what can you just tell, like, when she's talking, disclosing the slides, she's been telling specific names. She's been telling that some XYZ has called him, he has beaten up. That itself is
Yes,
illegal.
like for example, she took name of Salman Khan, his bodyguard Shera, then Aditya Pancholi, and then few other people, which uh, and then of course Mr. Bhatt had arrived, but only after the meeting, and he couldn't even talk to him because he was bleeding inside, internal bleedings, internal injuries that he just rushed. I mean, I was imagining that he's not related to me, but excuse me, he's a human being.
Exactly.
He is a member of the fraternity. He's
Exactly.
one actor. What was his fault? His fault was that he was trying to find out that what is happening in Bollywood, why there is so much drugs, why there is so much of um, uh, give mafia involved
Yeah.
in awards functions, in who should get the role, should be the producer, whose story it should be. Like once Govinda saying that I was told Now your producer is mine, your story is mine. Now you do one thing, you get out as a hero. I will do this film.
Yeah.
I mean, all these things. So Sushant started probing into it, having an engineer mind. So going into that investigation to find out who is doing it, who is the core a person who is in charge of doing this. You know, who is the mafia? What is happening? Why is Kwan behaving this way?
Mm.
Because that is not the image he knew entering into Bollywood.
Exactly.
So when he started feeling it, so he went into that investigation mode, and that is when everything started uh, uh, getting alarmed.
Yeah, exactly. Ma'am, what happened now? If you could just tell people, because Dipti is not around, and you have read about it, and I remember you said that I was so upset when I saw that what she was talking. So what was the thing that alarmed you? That, oh my God, what are these guys doing to him? So if you
It's
could
the
just put
way
some light
the
on.
way it has been written. uh, we all read we all read books, we all read scripts, so we know how something is written when it is scripted, or but this was like one mind. uh, it was a narration of one mind, in that language, in that tone, which can only come from one person. You understand? And somebody who is so deep inside, and somebody who is uh, wanting to know the truth. So it intrigued me to listen to them. So when I am listening, for example, the point that he pointed out about Jia's death, he pointed out about Kangna Ranawat, who knew how the father is, and not uh, you know, uh, opening any sentence by saying, "Oh my God, I hope so. His son is not like his father," for example, because there is a famous saying, "Like father, like son." And if a father, because when I came to know about his father, right, from Anju Mehendru, I told Jiya, I said, I have discovered, this was in the month of April the same year, I have discovered from Anju about his father, about his relationship with Kangana Ranawat, and about him, abusive relationship, violent relationship. So, and you have also told me about it. So I'm very alarmed and alert about it, Bebo. And I don't think so. You have got to focus here and let it go. So she said, "Mummy, I have signed films, and I'm anyway going to London. It will wear off, the distance will anyway wear off." I said, "So, but what's your fear?" She said, "I don't want any fights. I don't want, because she knows that to what extent he can go. And she had that fear in her." I said, "You never feared anyone. You never feared before." "Oh no, mommy, you don't know." I said, "No, I know. I have heard from a friend about his father. So obviously, so now like father, like son. Like Shobha Day said, immediately she tweeted, like father, like son. So why Kangana Ranawat, who knew the father, you know, had to defend? And then in Sushant's case, again, in nepotism, was it her own agenda, or was it a real agenda? Because actually, you look at it, Sushant was not. Why did he not mention about his fear about nepotism in the slides? Right? Why did he not? Uh, Nepotism is something that you can say, and he did mention it in his interviews. यहाँ पर तो ये चलता है जो whosoever is a son or a niece or a nephew and all, they get priorities. But this happens everywhere. This my daughter also knew.
Mm.
She was auditioned for one of the film, Salma Agha's daughter. That was also opposite Sushant. Salma Agha's daughter was given, and then Arjun Kapoor was given. Sushant and Jiya were completely out of that film. So it is not something that my daughter was not aware of. So these, when I was reading all these things, my heart actually broke. That this guy, his mistake was that he went too deep,
Mm.
and he got to the core. He got to the core, and he started communicating with Disha or whosoever, and
Yeah.
then mentioning about his Europe trip, that how Ria is manipulating 24/7, saying, I'm talking to my father, I'm talking to my father, but actually she was talking to XYZ, which he discovered. Same thing my daughter used to do, because she was isolated from us, and she was told not to mention that she's talking. I know he's there in her life, so she will be talking only to one person. So it is my intellect. I know that she's talking. I don't have to go into a phone, because I respected the privacy. So I never went into the phone. They have this in relationships, you get into each other's phones. But I never got into my daughter's. Even now, I never get into my daughter's privacy. Hi, Deepti.
Hello, Deepti.
Hi, I'm not able to see you.
Can you see? Namaskar. Can you see?
Hi, Sanya ji. Hi, Rabiya ji. Ah, no, I'm not
Hello.
able to see you. Actually, there's been heavy rain here, heavy rain this side, so I was not able to. I'm so sorry for being late today.
No, it's all right. But ma'am was also talking about your slides, Rabaji, and why don't you just join us with telling about a kind of a summary about that, the one you spoke last week.
You see, let me introduce it. Deepti, I was talking about the ninth slide that you had with Meenaji on her platform, and I did not sleep, because when I heard about few things, how deep Sushant had gone into finding the core devil in the whole cabal, and what is exactly happening in Bollywood, and where he was forced in a meeting and he was beaten. He was beaten that he he went and admitted himself into a hospital, keeping his family away, and
And
his
and
family
the
not being
news and the
told
news that
exactly
was
what
let out
was going through.
was and the news that was let out in the media or close friends was that he was suffering from dengue. The reason he got admitted was because he was beaten black and blue.
Yes, internal injuries, and that took away my sleep, my nights, and it reminds me that how many times Suraj Pancholi must have beaten my daughter. you know
Yeah,
because in one of her WhatsApp message to a friend, she said yes, his temper is too high, it's like a rage, and he even broke my little finger. So that is what, when judge heard about it and gave the case to CBI. And why CBI is so silent, and why what CBI did, my heart bleeds for CBI not to give justice, and not to do their job, because my faith from CBI is shaken.
exactly. Exactly.
And I don't know what kind of assurance I can give to public regarding Sushant and Disha Salian's case.
Mm,
What kind of assurance I can give? Oh, no, no, wait, have patience, CBI will do it.
mm, mm,
I can't myself.
mm, mm. I'm with you. I'm with you. I I hope Deepti can join us, because she's had some issues in some kind of rain and something is happening there, so it's a bit of a problem. But anyway, ma'am, just if you could just tell us a bit more in terms of, because you have had your share of the deal with Jiya, and you're also fighting for Sushant, because you understand the pain for any family what they're going through. And actually you're an emblem for even Disha, because none of these cases, with Sushant, the family is doing what they're doing, everybody knows, but with Disha, the families have just put things behind for whatever reasons best known to them. And I think with the only you are the only lady who is actually fighting for all such cases and many nameless cases. This is
Sanya,
how I see Mrs. Khan. This is how I see you, because you're not just fighting for for Jia, but you're also fighting for all the other cases. This is how I see.
Sanya, if somebody wants to take their life, there is a process. There is a process of long term, you know, long term science. Abruptly, these children are, they are found dead. Abruptly. Especially CBI has mentioned in their charge sheet that night Jiya was so happy. Everything was happening for her. If everything is happening for her, her sister is coming that night. She's giving money to Suraj for the new order of jewelry. She's communicating with people. Why will she go and commit suicide? Why will, if she had to commit suicide, it should have been when Suraj extricated fetus and forced abortion on her, which was in the month of January. It could have been when she was thrown out of some movies, if there was a movie depression. Do you understand me? So all of a sudden this happened. All of a sudden she goes to his house, and breakup was concocted by the police. So what is the story that Suraj comes up with? Breakup bouquet was police's story. What is his story then? Disha Salian, suddenly, from 14th floor she's down. So please think about it. How suddenly these deaths have happened. Mansukh Hiran, because it was involved in Antalya case, so quickly the body is found, and the right forensic doctors have been called to give right forensic evidences. In our case, the forensic doctors are also manipulated. Like recently, the police officer saying that the Parambir had uh, the forensic postmortem doctor, and every cases goes in front of that postmortem doctor, and the cases are given as suicide, right? So this is what they manipulate, because when such deaths happen, bodies cannot go to private hospitals. Ambulance, government hospitals are responsible to take police cases. So the police ambulance comes and takes the cases to the government hospital. Cooper Hospital was the nearest, but my daughter's body was taken to JJ Hospital. Why? If it is a case of suicide, do it in Cooper Hospital, close the case, and give the body. Why the body has to go to JJ Hospital, and a videographic has to be done, and then the video has to be sabotaged and corrupted?
I'm with you.
Do
Ma'am, I just have to take up. I just
They
have
were
to
not
take up.
given. Histopathology was not done. So this is what they have made us common people raise questions. No question is coming from them.
No answer is coming. No answer is coming from them.
Yes, no question,
Now,
no answers. We are raising questions, no answers given. They are not asking us question because they have no questions.
no, Sanya ji, and to all the viewers, I will just ask one thing. It's been close to 9 years that Rabiya ji has been fighting Jiya's case. And all that the CBI has to tell to the court even today is that it doesn't have evidences. Now, I will ask, as a citizen of this country, if this is the state, who should we look up to when some crime happens to our near and dear ones? Who will be answerable? If the people who are accountable to give us protection, who are accountable to maintain law and order in the society, who are accountable to see that the criminals get punished on time so that the crime rate doesn't increase, if they are the ones who are shielding the criminals, if the system is criminal friendly, okay, and we have lawyers, I mean, I just want, I'm sorry, I have a bit of cold. Yeah. I just want to ask one question here. If they are the ones who are shielding the criminals, whom should we ask the questions to? Where should we go for justice?
Exactly.
And in Sushant's case, as well as Rabiya ji was telling, okay, he was beaten black and blue. That was, I read in the slides that he wanted to see how deeply Riya was involved and how strong her network was. That's why he let out some info which he hadn't planned, that he is going to expose Salman's connections to brushing up Jia's murder case by doing a press conference the next day. And what happens? He is immediately called to a meeting, first by Mahesh Bhatt, and then by the Kwan guy Uday saying that there's a meeting with Salman Khan, and then Mahesh Bhatt accepts that he was the one who told Salman about this. So you see how this network goes. Okay.
Deepti, I want to say something,
Yeah.
that they validate by standing with the criminal that they are innocent. They are not validating Deepti's slides. Do you understand me? Because they want to say that Deepti, if Deepti was a liar, if Deepti was creating this fiction, rather, and then Deepti wouldn't be bold to come in public.
Exactly.
She would be risking, she's risking a very high stake here.
Absolutely.
No, I'm
And
not
they
only coming in. No, I'm not only coming in public. Before even coming to the public, I had contacted CBI's office, Rakesh Asthana sir's office. From there, we had set up the meeting with Nupur Prasad ji. If okay, because I was not able to meet her despite trying twice, and when it was clear that she was not interested, okay, that was when I came and started sharing things on the public. That too, tagging all the authorities. So now what is happening is that, see, every time some change happens, okay, new director of CBI came, Subodh Kumar Jaiswal, we started getting hopes. Okay, we started getting hopes that something will happen. And again, now the cabinet rejig has happened, new law minister has come and everything. Again, we are being shown hopes, but the relevant actions are not happening from the agencies or the judiciary. Who will answer our questions? I just want to address this to our new Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju sir. He is a very honest politician, from what I have heard. Okay, sir, we are the citizens of the country. The government is formed. The government is formed on the basis of the votes that the citizens vote, right?
People of India give, yeah.
Yes. So democracy is supposed to be for the people, by the people, and of the people. But here the people's cries are going unheard. And one more thing I would like to ask here, Sanya ji and
validate
Rabiya ji.
Deepti, that their actions are actually uh, uh, giving evidence of truth that these cases are the cases of murder. Do you understand me? Because destruction of evidences is also the truth that this is a case of murder.
Rabiya ji.
Why will you destroy evidence? Because you want to hide the truth. You have got to look at it in every angle.
That one photo of Jiya's, any layman without any knowledge of forensic, if they see, they can straight away say that it was not due to hanging.
Yeah.
No, like Mr. Rane, he's a cabinet minister appointed
Now.
Right? That very time said Sushant's case is not a case of suicide, but it is homicide.
Yes,
Now,
and
that caliber coming out, it is nothing to do with he has an agenda with anyone. My respect to him, he was honest and he remains honest.
And he clearly
I
told,
am saying the police and the agency should have taken his word serious. A man of that high caliber is saying something, so let's look into it. Let's call all those people he was associated with. He's saying people who came that night and who had a fight with him, whether it was regarding Jiya case or Disha's case or whatever, he had a fight. Find out those people, who were the people who came that night. You think it is not possible for them to find out?
No, the will is not there. It's clear to everyone that the will is not there. And Rabiya ji, Rane sir even told that the Maharashtra government is trying to save some minister. That's the reason they are trying to brush it up by suicide. This was the statement he gave about Sushant. Rane.
To you.
Okay, that was clear statement. Another thing, our Home Minister Amit Shah ji, I have great respect for him. He also said, when he was asked straight in an interview that, sir, what about Sushant's case and all, उनके साथ जो हुआ अच्छा नहीं हुआ.
Right.
Yeah, but I read about him categorically saying, I'm sorry, this is a case of homicide. It is not suicide. So the police has to, if a person of that caliber is saying, they should look at it as homicide and then prove it as no, it was not. Rule out homicide and then prove that it was a suicide. So they've got to rule out. This is exactly what I am saying to the CBI rule out homicide to come to conclusion that it is a case of suicide.
What is happening here is that we are asking questions because now this is we have YouTube and alternate media. Otherwise, this case would have been dead long back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
the
because of
CBI says जिया बहुत प्यार करती थी सूरज को, करती होगी.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no. अगर इतना प्यार करती थी तो उस रात को उसने जाके उसके फूल फेंके ना. और इतना अगर प्यार करती थी तो उस रात को इसने इतने dirty messages as alibi क्यों भेजे? Why
नहीं,
did he send dirty messages as alibis?
now what is the connection between, okay, let's say Jia loved Suraj a lot. That's the reason she tolerated him for that long, in spite of his abusive behavior. But what has that got to overlooking the
सीबीआई को कहां से
evidences
पता
which
चला वो बहुत
scream
प्यार
murder?
करती थी?
Yes.
मुझे ये बताइए सीबीआई को कहां से पता चला ये वो बहुत प्यार करती थी? सीबीआई को ये क्यों नहीं बातें पता चली कि उस रात को इसने कैसे लड़ाई की थी और कैसे फॉलो किया था?
No, but CBI is overlooking all the evidences. They have an evidence. They are not doing anything about it. This whole thing is
Exactly.
again diversion. They're just,
Exactly.
they're just talking. Blah
तो
blah.
कोई बहुत बड़ी शय होगी ना, कोई बहुत बड़ी शय होगी जिसका प्रेशर होगा सीबीआई के ऊपर. अब सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की है सीबीआई और स्टेट महाराष्ट्र स्टेट में वो काम कर रही है, इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही है. तो महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट, आपको मालूम है जब when Sushant passed away, Maharashtra government did not allow Bihar police to investigate, even
Yes.
come. So Maharashtra
Yes.
government did not allow police to collect any evidences of these two deaths. Maharashtra government, in fact, did not allow parents to speak up. They were so shattered. Maharashtra government actually put so much pressure on Parambir and Vaze to arrest Arnab Goswami because he was raising voice for justice. So this is what has happened. We know the answer why it is happening.
And
But
imagine
now,
yeah.
but now
Where
what
is
to do?
Arnab? Where is Arnab? You can imagine now when he was the one who's standing outside the world saying, he's calling everybody. But where is he? He's just disappeared. Nobody is raising. Nobody's even asking where is Arnab. If he's, it's like such an, and we are living in democracy, the largest democracy. In that world, largest democracy, things
But
are just
look
happening
at the
under
threats.
the
Look at the threats, and God knows what they have taken in writing from his wife. We don't know the backstory.
No.
You have got to understand. How they treated him. We have no idea.
What were you saying, Deepti? आप बोल रही थी कुछ, please बताइए.
See, I'm telling you this. Since 2018, since I filed that case for Sridevi ji, I too have been harassed. Okay, इनकम टैक्स रेड हुआ मेरे ऊपर. हालांकि इतना इनकम तो है नहीं, बट फिर भी रेड हुआ. कुछ मिला नहीं उनको. My friend who had signed as witness in one of the wakalats appeals that I had submitted to revive the case, he was called to Bangalore crime bench. He was beaten black and blue. Okay. See, there are many questions. There are many questions that go unanswered. And just because the media, the mainstream media, and everything is in the hands of the people, and they choose not to answer, despite there are proofs screaming otherwise. Are we okay with this?
The saddest thing is that the Bollywood does not care about the life of Sushant Singh. His presence in Bollywood, they don't care that he's gone. It is the saddest, very sad. I
No,
will
they
say.
must.
I
Srikant,
figured
Sushant,
this out. I figured this out. I was with the police yesterday in Sweden. I have to mention this now when we are talking about it. And believe me, if one person here in these countries, you're living in London, ma'am, and when you call up a police, they are eligible. They are, of course, you cannot do a fake call because a fake call has consequences. But if you have the right kind of information, it is the right for the police to take that information and make a charge sheet. This is law. And in India, we are wondering, we have Deepti Pinniti. I have to say it. She's saying, screaming, not just in one channel, in different channels. She's screaming loud and clear, hello, I have something to say. None of the authorities, none of the agencies are bothered to look into what she has to say.
And not even mainstream media. I
For
am
me,
also
this is
very
not
Against
justice
media, yeah.
against media. I mean, how big it is. For me, it is very big. You're sitting, we are NRIs. Mrs. Khan is NRI. I'm an NRI. We are all around the world and listening to you. We understand you have something to say. Fine. Why don't these people who are emblems of justice, who are sitting there in authorities, why can't they listen to you and say, okay, let us know if you're fake or you're real? Let us come. Why can't they do that? That's a question, open question to these people.
Oh, because they have a lot to hide.
It
If
does not matter. His life does not matter to them.
no,
It does
it's
not
not
matter.
about not mattering, Rabia ji. It's much more, much deeper than that. His death mattered to them. His death mattered to so many people who
Hmm.
wanted to save their images.
Yes.
He was investigating Jiya Khan's murder. He had found out that Salman Khan had transferred uh, some 2 crores or 5 crores, I don't remember the amount, just 2 months before to the commissioner's account from being human account. Okay, he has collected evidences, though I am yet to decode those files, since he has systematically mentioned that until and unless I read all the material that he has, I won't be able to open the files which have the proofs in them. So he has categorically mentioned that he has proofs of Jia's murder being brushed up as suicide and the damages being sabotaged on the insistence of Salman Khan.
But sweetheart, that is that the police officer himself told us. He said, I concocted the story. So if you have concocted the story, then what is the real story? The police officer, the ACP, said that he concocted the story of a breakup bouquet, that this is a case of suicide. Why? Because he was told, कुछ बनाओ, कुछ story बनाओ, जल्दी जल्दी बनाओ. Public को, you have got to feed the public something. पहले तो कह दो, suicide है, फिर proof करते रहेंगे. It's not done, मेरे, I tell you, मैं एक माँ हूँ, वो लोग भी एक कोई ना कोई बाप, कोई ना कोई माँ होगा. एंड आप देखना उनके साथ भी क्या होगा. उनको उनको नहीं तो उनके बच्चों पर जाएगा, उनके 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 जनरेशंस के पर जाएगा.
But
I can
Rabi,
जाएगा.
but Rabi,
Because
this is not acceptable.
हमारी लाडली, हमारे बच्चे हमारे लाडले हैं. हमने
yes.
बड़े प्यार से पाला है. हमारी हमारी रोंगटे, our breath cries,
Yeah.
every drop of our blood cries.
I totally with you.
And
Look,
every day, whether God likes it or not, I have a complaint, I have an answer, I have a question to God. That
मैंने
when,
उसको मैम मैंने दीप्ति जी से पूछा था कि why is she fighting? The simple answer she gave me was absolutely so convincing. She says because no one else is doing it. वो भी माँ है ना,
He's a good Samaritan.
इसीलिए it
He's a
burns
very
a
good
hole in our
Samaritan.
heart that
Yeah.
nobody is concerned to at least get the truth, as she
मैं
said.
तो इसीलिए, तानिया जी, मैं तो इसलिए कर रही हूँ. एक तो मैं माँ हूँ, दूसरी बात, क्योंकि the criminal is a serial killer and is involved in all these 3 deaths. So
और मैं
yes, I have only this much to say, Sanya ji, for today. I will like to take a leave, and hats off to Deepti. I am with you always, because seriously, you are one daring Samaritan who is actually probably sent for universe, for the
Yes,
benefit of universe.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
so Sanya,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
thank you very much. I
thank you,
always
Rabi.
like to
Thank
support you, because you're also fighting, and you're fighting for us. So I like your platform, and I will always come whenever you will invite me. Thanks,
thank you
Deepti.
so much.
Thank you.
Lots of love to you. Thank
Bye.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Take care. Take care. Bye. Yeah, Deepti, I am so grateful that you are here finally. ये सब technical issues के बाद भी आप आई हैं. So I'm so happy that you're here. And आपको मुझे मैं देख रही हूँ आपका गला खराब है. I mean, I just have to say hats off to you. Deepti, आप बताइए हमें, because I know you've been out and I think a lot of people here, I had already talked to a few people that आप आएंगी और आप बताएंगी कि वो जो थोड़ा सा, because I think सब में नहीं देख पाए हैं वो जो आपने बताया. If you can tell it in Hindi and English दोनों को मिलाकर, it would be very nice, just a summary, so that people understand that from where you're coming.
You mean to say the,
Yeah,
the
that
entire
slide.
thing of.
Ninth ka, हाँ. Ninth ka slide ka, yeah, that slide that you wanted to, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, yes. That one, right. Yeah. So the slides which I recently decoded, okay, they tell about. See, there are 8 drives. Earlier, I had started with the first drive. So now, since people were becoming impatient, what about his last days and all, I focused my attention towards the last drive. So I tried decoding the last drive, wherein he clearly mentions that all those people who were around him. Okay. Um, okay, from one trusted source, he came to know about Sridevi, how she was isolated during her last days when she tried to expose her husband's wrongdoings to the authorities. She had even met the authorities, and but then once Boni Kapoor had cried and uh, and asked to forgive him as he will mend his ways. So that time she didn't take any action. But then later, when he didn't mend his ways and she was trying to expose him, she also wanted to do a press conference after coming from Dubai. But she was isolated. During the last days, her phone and her social media accounts were taken control of by Boni Kapoor. That's what is written in the slides. After knowing about this, then it strikes to Sushant that what Boni did to Sridevi was what exactly Ria was doing to him. Till then, he was not able to understand why, whenever he was about to do something concrete, it never materialized. At that point of time, when he came to know about how Sridevi was controlled and not kept in, and she was kept in isolation and was not allowed to interact with the outer world, that point of time, he stepped back and he realized that it was Riya, Shauvik, Sandeep Singh, and Riya, Shauvik, Chandrasingh, and Samuel Miranda. Okay. I want to read that slide.
Yeah, please
Okay.
do.
Yeah, please. Now, whom to pick, whom not to is the biggest question I have in my mind after what I heard from this source. The prime people who are creating even the more problem for me are this Riya family, Siddharth, Sandeep Singh vanishing. Let's keep it pending for some time now. And now, the biggest thing I need to mention over here is what Disha told me. Today, the flights Ria and her brother were taking, and the money which is vanishing from account. All this is used by Ria and Shovik for some things which is related to these drugs and this underworld. They are soon going to invest into something which will give them the monopoly of an area. And that's when she will be making double the money she is doing now. This is what I have gotten to hear. I'm not sure how true it is. I too was confused. Then I had to call Siddharth to ask him this about the money. He says Ria's transactions were never suspicious. I asked Disha to wait and continue doing it even the more silently now because some faces are coming out and we need to be a little more careful now in order to proceed with the actions we intend to take. This was a shocker for me. But the talk I had with this source gave me the idea that something similar was in store. I decided to stage a drama in front of Ria to see what her intentions were so that I get clarity on what I need to do and what I need to not. Because this female, now if I go back and think, has introduced me to so many people who, if I see back on now, are actually good for nothing and are here only to mess my thought process up. And if these people they can get me into depression by doing all this, hell, no depression. Hell no. Depression is a too small word when you have trust in your God and yourself. And me getting into depression will never happen because I actually know what I need to be doing and what I need to not. And in order to stay strong, the biggest mantra for it is I have a God and a father, but no godfather. And the people who look up to me, my fans, my audience, when the time will come, when I keep this in front of them, they will definitely roar for me. And that's the confidence that keeps me going. Because when you don't have someone's hand on your head, you don't need to be worried about anyone else because you have God's hand on your head. And this is how I have grown. This is what my mother taught me since I was a kid. And this will always remain with me as the most cherished lesson in my life. And rest, whatever blooms around it, I am ready for it. And with my team, I shall do it no matter what comes in the way. I will stand strong, and if needed, I will stand alone. Enough of these people messing up with the country and ruining us from the core as a society. Now it's our right, and we have to stand for it. Because if we don't raise our voice for what is right, then there is no point we cry for what we have not got. Because unless you do your karma, you cannot expect anything. And if you get anything without working for it, within the matter of time, it would be gone. So I decided to test some people to see where exactly this goes. Okay. So what he is saying here is that Disha, who was the celebrity manager of Aishwarya Rai and so many people, she was passing him some informations. Okay. And she had told him about Riaz and Shauvik's flights and the money vanishing from the account. And which was used for some drug deals and some underworld activities. Okay. So, but when he confirmed with Siddharth about this, Siddharth always used to tell him that nothing was suspicious on Ria's part. So he asks Disha to work silently for now, and he decides to test each of the people who are around him himself in his own way by playing a game. Okay. So how does he do that? So all these things here, Sanya ji, it clearly says that this man was not depressed. They tried to, show, they tried to, what do you say, demoralize him, the
Yeah.
people around him.
Yeah.
Okay. They tried to isolate him, they tried to demoralize him, but he fought it out. Okay. Because of the strong foundations he had
Yeah.
in the form of upbringing. Okay. So he decides, even in that situation, when he knew that maybe the people around him are all playing games with him. Okay, he decides, look at his intelligence. He decides to test each one of them individually.
Yeah.
So first he targets Siddharth. Okay.
Siddharth Pitani.
So Siddharth Pitani. Okay. Please give me 1 minute.
We are with Deepti Pinniti, who is trying to tell us about the slides that she has decoded. And you can imagine how she's trying to, I don't see any such, because the kind of words that she's talking about, the kind of statements she's talking about, I don't know. I find it so convincing somehow. But of course, yeah, Deepti.
Yes, Sanjay. So Siddharth, I told him I want to change the passwords of my bank account and some other changes to be made. He was shocked. He was like, is this really required when things are all right and fine? Why do you want to now change things? This can actually hamper the entire setup. Okay. So he tries to test each one of them. To Siddharth, he goes and tells that he wanted to change the passwords of all his bank accounts. Okay. On listening to this, he gets shocked. Siddharth is shocked. And he discourages him from doing so, saying, why does he want to do it when everything is going right? Okay. So the next person he tries to test is Samuel Miranda. Don't inform Riya that I have changed my number again. Okay. So Sushant tells him, don't inform Riya that I have changed my number again. And what happens next is, Riya comes back in the evening and is furious on me. I just had doubts. Now I am confirmed. You are cheating on me. I never expected you to do this to me. So when he clearly told Samuel not to inform Riya that he has changed his number, that is what he goes and does. And Riya comes back blasting at him. So you're cheating on me. There's the reason you did this. I clearly told her to stop assuming and told her I just wanted to keep a check on how true Samuel Miranda is. And the woman, I know for a fact, acted as she believed me. You might think if I you might think if I was getting hints these people were changing, why didn't I snap? Why didn't I expose them or maintain distance from them? Let me tell you before you harbor that thought. I wanted to just act getting played into their hands because the informations I got from Mahesh Bhatt clearly showed him knowing a lot about Gulshan Kumar case. And if I get through with my plan, I can catch him with proper evidences in not just one, but two cases, Parveen Bhabi and Jiya Khan. And all these people are in some way or the other close to Riya. And these are the bunch of people who have been with me for some time now. So I will exclude them when needed and exactly know what they are up to and what they can do through their body language and the way they present themselves, getting new people on board and making them to understand things and taking work out will be another mountain task to do. Because what will happen is new set of people, different wavelengths and different working style to get synced in will take time. And I don't think this is needed. Anything that happens, take it with a pinch of salt. And I have my people, my team, whom I can trust on. This team can do anything for me. So these people, let them be. So here a lot of comments also where I share these slides, people come up saying when he knew, why was he still entertaining them, why didn't he come out of them? So here he has given an answer for that beforehand only.
Yeah.
Before anyone harbors any such doubt, I wanted to play along
Yeah.
as if I'm not suspecting them, because he was already investigating into the crime nexus of the Bollywood, that the Bollywood was investigating, Bollywood was involved in. So he wanted information. He wanted to expose them. Okay. So he decided to play along with these people.
Yeah.
Okay. So Riya. So how he goes about testing Riya. This was another shock for me. But how do I put it across? Now I'm actually falling short of words to write that emotions, to write what emotions are running in my mind now, because the only thing that I want to mention here is that these guys are trying real hard to prove one of the two things: either I am mentally insane or I am depressed and disturbed. Whatever they say or they propagate, I will get my facts right first before I waste time behind these people or fall for the trap these people have built around me. Falling for this trap is never the case because I am well aware what these people are up to and I have my precautions. But yes, I need to mention about I have got to know the true colors of Riya too. I started Riya, if you remember, I started. Okay, so he goes and tells Riya. Riya, if you remember, I had a small tiff with Anushka and Amir during the PK movie. And then when I was trying to understand what are this man's intentions, when he made that statement first, that it's not safe to live in India, that it's not safe to live in India, and his wife feels so, and later he retracted his statements. So he goes and tells Riya, Riya, do you remember that fight? आपको वो fight याद है आमिर खान और अनुष्का के साथ जो सेट्स पे हुआ था? तो इससे पहले कि सुशांत अपना बात कंप्लीट करते, रिया का आंसर आया. Even before I could finish came the answer, and this is what exposed Riya. What that answer was, the next slide is totally dedicated to this. And this was my warning to keep things to myself. And if I want to succeed in this mission, I need to ensure these people don't get the slightest doubt about it. So her answer. तो जब सुशांत मेंशन करते हैं आमिर खान और अनुष्का के साथ जो फाइट हुआ था पीके मूवी के बारे में, तो तभी रिया उनके खत्म करने से पहले ही वो अपने आप से बता देती हैं, yes, I know you had a small tiff and then you lost your cool. You are actually wanting to know who were the people who visited him on the sets of the movie that day. And when in the evening that day he was speaking to Salman on a call, you were around, and you were around, the color of his face totally changed. And yes, this is one of the main reasons these Khans got their eyes on you. And you were told to stay away. The first statement issued was on orders to create a political unrest in India. That if a star is not feeling comfortable, how can we? Shah Rukh and Salman were to follow that rate. But then some adjustment had happened and he had to change his statements. But this man's connections with Turkey and some other Muslim nations became prominent to you. And you wanted to dig a little deeper. Riya is telling this to Sushant. Okay. But this man's connections with Turkey and some other Muslim nations became prominent to you, and you wanted to dig a little deeper. They wanted one reason to publicly target you, and hero movie of Suraj Pancholi became the actual reason for the fight. Okay, so now Sushant says this. How did she know all these things when he himself had not mentioned it to her? Okay,
How is it?
so he says, okay, the actual reason for the fight, which I had, neither did Salman had the guts, neither did any other of these Khans, because these very well knew that I had evidences against them, and it's just that I'm waiting for some more things to be added, so that I can come out totally in the open. Not back then in 2015. I'm talking about now, the recent past, 2018 onwards, and the entry of Sarah and Saif into this through Kedarnath. The entire thing, me getting connected to her through YRF, within brackets Aditya Chopra, and then the entire game, why she was trying to impress me, and this coming out of her mouth without me telling, I can vouch for it. That this girl, I never opened my mouth about this. And apart from Asif Bhai and Sandeep, no one knew about this too. Asif Bhai and Sandeep hated this female. They would never open up. Then how did this girl know all this? Was Salman so stupid, or was Amir, or were the Chopras stupid to tell this to her without having to do anything with her? This cleared all my doubts that whatever my plans were going out and whatever were the problems I was facing, whenever I was to achieve something concrete, was going out through this path. सनी जी, आई एम सॉरी फॉर द वर्ड्स.
No,
व्हाट
no,
ही इज सेइंग, हाँ, वो क्या बोल रहे हैं कि जब रिया को उन्होंने बताया नहीं, और जो उनके जो दो दोस्त थे जिनको ये बात पता है, संदीप नाहर और आसिफ.
Sandeep Nahar or Kasif, yeah.
हाँ, संदीप नाहर और आसिफ, ये इन दोनों को ही पता था, और ये दोनों रिया से नफरत करते थे, तो वो दोनों तो कभी उससे बोलेंगे नहीं.
बिल्कुल.
सुशांत ने कभी उससे बोला नहीं है. और सलमान या आमिर या चोपरास, वो लोग तो इतने बेवकूफ है नहीं कि बिना कोई डीप कनेक्शन के इस लड़की के साथ इतना सेंसिटिव बात इसको बोलेंगे.
Right.
तो तभी उनको समझ में आया कि ये जो रिया जो है वो प्लांट की गई है उनके लाइफ में.
Right.
पहले से ही उनका इन सबसे कनेक्शंस था. एंड सानिया जी, वन थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू मेक क्लियर हियर इज दैट आई हैव रेड कमेंट्स ऑन यूट्यूब एंड एवरीथिंग वेयर दे आर सेइंग Amir's visit to Turkey happened after Sushant's death. But in the slides, he's not mentioning about Amir's visit to Turkey. He's mentioning about Amir's connections with Turkey and Islamic nations. Okay? Some publicized event where he visits Turkey doesn't necessarily mean that their relation started then. Right?
Right.
So let us not get confused with the Turkey visit which happened recently and the connections that he is talking here.
Right.
Okay. So now he has confirmed that उनके जो plans जो fail हो रहे थे और उनका info जो leak हो रहा था वो इस route से जा रहा था, रिया के through से. Okay. Okay. So this information that the fight we had was all due to the fact that this Suraj wanted to come and make me see sense and also tell me that I will not be able to do anything much because everyone worked hand in glove with them. I'm so mad at myself. This woman all the while was with me and played a lot with my emotions and made sure that I was always doubting other people just because she had doubts on them. It was not that she had doubts on them. It's just because that these people were trying to help me, and this woman knew the exact stage where I was what I was about to do and what were my counter plans. So, to create the confusion and to see how this would work out, I just wanted to try a game. यहाँ पे मैं बोलना चाहूँगी कि सुशांत उन लोगों के बीच में रह के, in spite of knowing the threat he was in, I don't know. I mean, I'm totally in awe. Hats off to this person. I told her, I told her I'm having some serious things to do tomorrow. And what I'm going to do tomorrow will expose Salman Khan and his connections in the Jiya Khan case and the Pancholis. How could he save them? And also who helped him out in his work. I'm going to meet someone now. And once I'm back, I need to arrange a conference for me so that I can at least start now to keep things out in front of the public. You know, right, how much we have suffered around this. Let's put an end to all of our sufferings. This will be the beginning of the downfall of these people, and that would mean we are successful in our mission. तो सुशांत अभी रिया के साथ एक गेम खेलते हैं. वो उनको जाके बोलते हैं कि मुझे अभी कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट काम है, मैं सलमान खान को एक्सपोज करने वाला हूँ और उनका जो कनेक्शन है जिया खान मर्डर केस में उसको एक्सपोज करने वाला हूँ. उसके बाद में एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने वाला हूँ. सो आई विल गो. तो नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट उसके बाद क्या होता है देखिए. The only mistake I feel that happened here was she saw Disha calling me in front of her. I just blasted out to her that how many times do I tell you, don't disturb me when I am disconnecting the call. I'm not quite sure how well this answer of mine stuck, because what happened was, as soon as this news was out onto her, she literally started sweating and just rushed out of the room to try and take stock of the situation. I followed her. She was furious and was actually totally lost and shocked when she saw me right behind her. The phone which was on her ear came abruptly down and she was like, "You need something?" I was like, "You were sweating and you walked out of the room when our discussion was going on. All well." She told me yes and came close to me and gave me big hug. She might have thought I am an idiot and cannot make out, but I was clearly sensing that this hug was not out of love, but just to make sure that if I have seen her mannerisms and ask her for her phone, why did she drop the call when I just entered right behind her? She played this to perfection to give me a hug and to delete the last call and make a dummy one. But the only thing she forgot was, when you hug someone, your elbow and arm touches the back of the person whom you are hugging. I got my answers. I just acted indifferent and carried on. But I was sure that this girl was never on my side. She was just a plant in my life to know what kind of actions I am going to take and how I could be stopped. Things were pretty clear to me that this is why I was failing. This was why we all were messing up with so many things which could be handled better. But thank God, now I was crystal now I was crystal clear what was my path ahead. And I was very sure how I should play my game further. This was an eye opener for me. But from here, my gut started telling me that I have unknowingly pulled Disha in this too. I have to do something now, which will take all doubts away from her. Because she is one girl who boldly had the guts to tell it on my face that I am with you. And I can give you all the connections between Salman Khan and various other actors because I was Aishwarya Rai's manager. And my tenure with her has shown me a lot of dirty places. My mind began to think, if Riya is plant in my life, can Rohan be a plant in hers? But again, I might be assuming, but I need to be prepared and I have to start working on this angle. Now that I know why was this girl poking her nose into everything. So Sanya ji, Sushant was actually investigating since 2017-2018. Okay, but तब से वो जो भी प्लान कर रहे हैं वो इट वाज गेटिंग वो फेल हो रहा था. इंफॉर्मेशन लीक हो रहे थे, काउंटर हो रहा था उनके प्लान्स को. तो अभी उनको समझ में आया जब वो किसी सोर्स से श्रीदेवी के बारे में जाने, एंड देन वी रीअसेस किया अपने सिचुएशन को, और देन सबको इंडिविजुअल जब उन्होंने टेस्ट किया, सबके ट्रू कलर सामने आए, ठीक है। तो रिया को वो जाके बोलते हैं कि मैं सलमान का आई हैव टू गो एंड डू सम वर्क, मैं प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस भी रखूंगा, सलमान खान के कनेक्शंस एक्सपोज करूंगा, जिया खान मर्डर केस कैसे सैबोटेज किए हैं उसमें उनके कनेक्शंस एक्सपोज करूंगा, ओके ओके। तो वो बात वो होने के बाद he at that point of time he was disconnecting. Disha was calling him and he was disconnecting, and Riya saw that Disha was calling him. Okay, तो उस टाइम को वो चिल्ला के रख देते हैं, कितने बार बोला है कि जब मैं डिस्कनेक्ट कर रहा हूँ तो यू शुड नॉट डिस्टर्ब मी, बोलकर फोन डिस्कनेक्ट कर देते हैं। लेकिन तभी क्या होता है, रिया पूरा घबरा जाती है और उस रूम से चली जाती है, जाके वो किसी से फोन में बात करने लगती है। और जैसे ही सुशांत उनको फॉलो करते हैं और रिया जैसे ही देखती है कि सुशांत उनके पीछे खड़े हैं, वो फोन नीचे कर देती है और पूछते हैं क्या हुआ। तो बोलते क्या हुआ मतलब, तुम मुझसे बात कर रही थी, अचानक से तुम आ गई हो, तुम घबरा के आ गई हो। तो ना अभी रिया क्या करती है, वो उनको एक हक देती है। किस लिए? ताकि उन्होंने जो कॉल किया वो कॉल, लास्ट कॉल डिलीट करके डमी कॉल करने के लिए, ताकि अगर सुशांत उनको पूछे कि तुम किसको कॉल कर रही हो, देन शी विल हैव एन आंसर। तो यहाँ पे सुशांत बोलते हैं कि उसने, रिया थॉट आई एम एन इडियट, क्योंकि कभी अगर किसी को हक करते हो तो उनके एल्बोज जो हैं आपके बैक को टच करती हैं। तो मैं जान सक रहा था कि वो क्या कर रही है अपने हाथों के साथ, ओके, बट ही एक्ट्स एज इफ वो रिया की बात मान लेते हैं और उनको चिंता होने लगती है दिशा के बारे में, क्योंकि दिशा का नाम बाहर आ गया अभी, ठीक है। तो अभी वो सोचने लगते हैं जैसे रिया मेरे लाइफ में प्लांट है, क्या रोहन रॉय जो दिशा के बॉयफ्रेंड वो भी दिशा के लाइफ में प्लांट है क्या। सो ही नाउ अभी उनको दिशा के बारे में फिक्र होने लगती है, ओके। And as I had expected, my phone rings and I get a call from Mahesh Bhatt telling me that he wants to talk to me about Jiya Khan's death. कनेक्शन देखिए, यहाँ पे सुशांत रिया को बोलते हैं कि वो एक्सपोज करने जा रहे हैं सलमान खान कनेक्शंस इन जिया खान केस, और इस तरफ से रिया किसी को चुपके से फोन करती है और सुशांत जाते ही वो फोन ड्रॉप कर लेती है, ठीक है। और फिर इमीडिएटली उसके बाद महेश भट्ट का कॉल आता है, ओके, और वो बोलते हैं कि वो जिया खान के डेथ के बारे में कुछ बात करना चाहते हैं। नाउ एज आई हैड एक्सपेक्टेड, and as I had expected, my phone rings and I get a call from Mahesh Bhatt telling me that he wants to talk to me about Jiya Khan's death and how his name was framed into this incident, and he has proof of his innocence and he wants to meet up. I did not know what to do and how his name, I did not know what to do at that moment, because till now I was under the impression that the enemy is outside the house. But this incident made me realize that there are enemies inside the house too. And this is one big concern we need to address very, very soon. Because now the mission I was doing, according to me, stands half exposed. And I need to be very, very careful with every step I take, because these steps can make or break the thing we are doing. Now, what is most important is that I need to make sure that I have to first work out every situation in my mind and then react to the situation on hand. And this is how any result is possible. But today I got to know that the real key to all these situations these people create is family. And if you want to fight this war and win it, then you need to keep the family away. Once all this is over and I expose these people, I will get back to my family and apologize to them for all that I did and explain it to them that for me, my strength lied in you. And if I had one option to look back upon someone when I am totally lost, it would be as follows. Nahar, Asif Bhai, my fans. And when nothing works out and I am out of options, I am sure my family will stand with me. I know for sure it will not go that deep, but I have to be prepared for everything. Now, the girl who got close to me with a cause is a plant. Anything is possible. I wish I never left my father's dream and completed my course and never came here. It is said, one mistake, learn from it. Second mistake, analyze it. I have already done two major mistakes, and I am proud of mistakes because today, while writing this, I am learning from it. And this shall look silly to you, but if there is any shortcut to success, then the simplest shortcut is learn from others' mistakes. I just had one interaction with one person who shall be my role model forever, Sridevi ji. And her only hint to me was learn from my mistakes. I wish I didn't listen to anyone and went on the path of my dreams. But I am not having any bad life now. Either it's just that some instances make you or break you. But it is up to you to take every single second as a lifetime and live around it. And I'm doing exactly that. Now just make sure that no one knows what is running in my mind and answer everyone when the right time comes. And what is the right time? This will tell you the story.
Wow.
Okay. So he immediately gets a call from Mahesh Bhatt saying that he wanted to discuss something about Jiya Khan's death and कुछ proofs देने थे और उनको अपना innocence भी साबित करना था बोल के. Okay. तो तभी सुशांत कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं क्योंकि तब तक ही was thinking, तब तक उनको लग रहा था कि उनके साथ जो है वो उनके टीम है, बट अभी उनको पता चला कि इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ से जा रहा है. सो ही वाज नॉट श्योर वेदर ही शुड मीट महेश भट्ट और नॉट. और एक बात वो यहाँ पे साफ बोल रहे हैं कि उन्होंने अपने फैमिली को कुछ बोला नहीं है इसके बारे में क्योंकि ये लोग फैमिलीज को टारगेट करते हैं. ठीक है, तो इसीलिए उन्होंने वो क्लियर करा कि उन्होंने अपने फैमिली को इन सब चीज से दूर रखा है. और एक बार ये इन सबको एक्सपोज कर देंगे तो उसके बाद फैमिली को जाके बताएंगे, उनसे माफी मांगेंगे और बताएंगे कि उन्होंने ये सब किया और क्यों नहीं बताया उनको.
बिल्कुल सही.
ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे मतलब वो इतने बुरी तरह से फंस गए हैं कि वो रिग्रेट भी कर रहे हैं कि वो अपने पापा का ड्रीम जो था वो पूरा नहीं करके उस रास्ते क्यों नहीं गए. बट देन अगेन ही इज फाइटिंग विथ हिमसेल्फ. ही इज राइटिंग हिज थॉट्स एज इज रनिंग इन हिज माइंड. ठीक है, मैंने गलतियां किया है लेकिन मैं गलतियों से सीखूंगा. क्योंकि उनके जो रोल मॉडल है श्रीदेवी जी, जिनसे उनका एक ही बार इंटरेक्शन हुआ था, उन्होंने बस उनको एक ही बात बोला था कि यू लर्न फ्रॉम माई मिस्टेक्स. मेरी गलतियों से तुम सीखो. और वो भी यही बोलते हैं अगर हमको लाइफ में जल्दी सीखना है तो हमारे मिस्टेक्स के साथ साथ हमको दूसरों की गलतियों से भी सीखना पड़ेगा.
बिल्कुल सही, बिल्कुल सही.
ओके. सो अभी ये महेश भट्ट के कॉल आने के बाद, दिस कॉल फ्रॉम महेश भट्ट, आई देन डिस्कस्ड विथ नाहर and it was decided that I should go, but this time when I go I should make sure that I'm well guarded because now that I have started going a little more deep into things, and if my calculations are not wrong, touch the right nerve, these people will try and do something where either I will be defamed heavily or I will have to face some kind of music. This was always running in my mind. When everything became crystal clear, that I get a call from Uday, the Kwan guy, telling me that there is a meeting he needs me to attend. When I ask him what meeting, he says, I have to meet Salman and some other people. This came as another surprise to me, which I had least expected. What I did was I just wanted to find out how deeply was this rooted. I directly called Mahesh Bhatt, and the answer what I get shows that when the panic button is pressed, a man often does mistakes which is unknown to him. And this answer gave me my answers as to how important it is to not take any decision when the mind is asking questions. तो महेश भट्ट का कॉल आने के बाद उनको और एक और वो संदीप नाहर से डिस्कस करते हैं कि उनको जाना चाहिए या नहीं जाना चाहिए. तो ये डिसाइड होता है कि वो जाएंगे, बट इस बार वो ही विल नॉट ट्रस्ट एवरीथिंग, ही विल बी ऑन हिज गार्ड. ओके. बट इमीडिएटली उसके बाद क्वान क्वान जो इवेंट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी है उसके एक बंदा उदय से कॉल आता है और बोलते हैं कि एक मीटिंग है जो उनको अटेंड करना है. When Sushant asks when Sushant asks कि कौन सा मीटिंग, तो बोलते हैं तुमको सलमान और बाकी लोगों से मिलना है. 1 second.
So we're talking about the diaries of Deepti Pinniti, जो ये इन्होंने decode किया है और वो बता रही हैं कि how Sushant has been writing and he's been disclosing his lifestyle. He's been talking about how he have understood, how he's had things planted around him, how people have been planted. Yeah.
So जब ये कॉल आता है क्वान के उदय से कि उनको सलमान खान से मिलना है, तब उनको समझ में आता है कि कितना डीप कनेक्शंस. महेश भट्ट से कॉल आता है, क्वान के बंदे से कॉल आता है सलमान खान और बाकी बंदों के मीटिंग के साथ. ओके. और उस मीटिंग में क्या होता है, तो उसके बाद वो महेश भट्ट को कॉल करते हैं. ओके. महेश भट्ट says that he was the one who informed Salman Khan. Okay. The man forgot the mask he was. Sanya ji, I'm not able to continue actually. The voice is coming up.
Yeah, I understand you totally. It's all right. And I totally understand. No problem. No problem.
Yeah. You please ask. I will answer in between.
Right. What was the thing like the last? You don't have to read it, but if you just tell us that we'll take it off now after some time short because I see that you're not really keeping well. But what was the last thing that when he went to Mr. Uday? What was it? If you just give us a short summary.
नहीं, उदय का कॉल आने के बाद वो महेश भट्ट को कॉल करते हैं.
जी.
महेश भट्ट बोलते हैं हाँ मैंने ये मीटिंग सेटअप किया है.
अच्छा.
ठीक है. तो तब सुशांत सोचते हैं कि जो बंदा मुझे जिया खान मर्डर के प्रूफ्स देने के लिए बुला रहा था, वो सलमान खान को फोन करके मेरा मीटिंग सेटअप करता है. तो वहां पे जाने के बाद क्या होता है, वहां पे होते हैं डीनो मोरियो, सलमान खान, आदित्य पंचोली, उदय, शेरा, इम्तियाज और भी कुछ लोग जिनका नाम वो नहीं जानते थे तभी. ठीक है. और वहां पे जाने के बाद ये इंसिडेंट होने के बाद उस मीटिंग में उनको मारा जाता है. ही इज मैन हैंडल्ड. ओके. एंड ही इज मैन हैंडल्ड इन ए वे कि चोट दिखता नहीं है लेकिन दर्द होता है. ये टेक्निक्स आर्मी में यूज होता है. एज ए एनसीसी कैडेट मैं जानती हूँ. कंबल पैरेड बोल के मतलब ब्लैंकेट ओढ़ के मारते हैं लोगों को ताकि सीनियर्स से जाके वो कंप्लेन ना कर पाए कि चोट यहाँ लगी. दर्द होगा लेकिन निशानी नहीं रहेगी. सो दैट इज व्हाट दे डिड. उनको भी इस तरह से मारे कि दर्द उनको हुआ लेकिन वो दिखा नहीं पाए कि कहाँ पे चोट लगी है. ओके. और उस मीटिंग में डीनो मोरियो, सलमान खान, आदित्य पंचोली, उदय, शेरा, इम्तियाज और बहुत सारे लोग थे. ठीक है. और उनको वार्निंग दी जाती है वहां पे कि ये सिर्फ पिक्चर है, अभी तुमने ये सब इन्वेस्टिगेशंस नहीं रोका अगर तो पूरा पिक्चर दिखाया जाएगा तुमको. ठीक है. बोल के उनको छोड़ दिया जाता है. तो जब वो उस मीटिंग से बाहर जा रहे होते हैं तभी महेश भट्ट एंट्री करते हैं और बोलते हैं सॉरी मैं कहीं हेल्ड अप हो गया था.
अच्छा.
तो सुशांत उनको इग्नोर करके जाते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ दैट ही इज क्लियर. ओके. उसी के बाद मी टू एलिगेशंस. संजना मी टू एलिगेशंस उनके ऊपर जो आया गया, संजना टू डिफेम हिम. ये सब एक्शंस होते हैं सुशांत को डिफेम करने के लिए. ओके. फिर उसी रात को वो मीटिंग से जब घर जाते हैं तो उनकी सिस्टर्स उनको मिलने आ रहे होते हैं, ठीक है, बट सुशांत जो श्योर है कि वो अपने फैमिली को इन्वॉल्व नहीं करना चाहते हैं, वो दर्द नहीं सह पा रहे हैं जो उनको उस चोट से लगी है, ठीक है, और उनको पता है कि उनको हॉस्पिटल जाना होगा, लेकिन उनके बहनें आ रही हैं, और अगर उनके बहनों को पता चलता है कि उनको मारा गया है, तो अगेन दे विल गेट इन्वॉल्व। तो वो क्या करते हैं, वो मिसबिहेव करते हैं अपने बहनों के साथ और उनको भेज देते हैं।
नहीं,
समझ रहे, मिसबिहेव करके ही मेक्स देम लीव, देन ही गोज टू हॉस्पिटल, गेट्स एडमिटेड, ओके। और ये जो हॉस्पिटल का एडमिशन टाइम था जो था, वो बाहर न्यूज में क्या आया, दैट ही वाज सफरिंग फ्रॉम डेंगू। एक्चुअल रीजन इज दिस, ओके। तो वो जब हॉस्पिटल में एडमिटेड थे, उनके पापा ने, उनके फैमिली से बहुत कॉल्स आए उनको, जो सिद्धार्थ और जो बाकी के लोग थे वो आंसर्स कर रहे थे, और वो उनके फैमिली और उनके पापा को बोल रहे थे कि सुशांत आपसे बात करने में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है।
अच्छा,
ओके। और किसी ने उनको हॉस्पिटल में ये भी नहीं बोला कि उनके घर से उनको फोन आया है, ठीक है। फिर उसके बाद वो अपना यूरोप ट्रिप के बारे में बोलते हैं, ठीक है। यूरोप ट्रिप में कैसे रिया उनको डिमोरलाइज कर रही थी हर बात पे, और जानबूझकर ऐसे फोटोज को मीडिया में छोड़ा गया था जिसमें वो दुखी और डिप्रेस लग रहे थे, ऐसे मोमेंट्स कैप्चर किए गए थे, ओके। और तभी वो याद करते हैं कि रिया पूरे यूरोप ट्रिप में हर वक्त फोन में लगी रहती थी, और जब सुशांत पूछते थे किससे बात कर रहे हो, तो हमेशा वो कहती थी पापा से बात कर रहे हो, पापा से बात कर रहे हो। तो बाद में जब सुशांत उनका कॉल रिकॉर्ड्स चेक करते हैं, तो कॉल रिकॉर्ड्स अलग अलग नंबर्स को था, ठीक है। और वो कॉल्स जो नाम ले रही हूँ मैं अभी लेने वाले, उनके नाम पर नहीं थे, लेकिन वो जो कॉल जिस पैटर्न में हुआ, उससे सुशांत को पता चला कि वो कॉल्स उन्होंने शेरा, महेश भट्ट, सारा अली खान, दीपिका पादुकोणे, जय साहा, इम्तियाज और सिद्धार्थ, इन लोगों को कर रहे थे। फिर वो बोलते हैं थैंक गॉड मैंने इस लड़की के साथ कभी कोई प्रूफ शेयर नहीं किया, कभी कोई डॉक्यूमेंट शेयर नहीं किया, और मैं तभी इसलिए किया नहीं था क्योंकि जिस तरह से मैं अभी अपनी फैमिली को प्रोटेक्ट करना चाह रहा हूँ, तभी मैं इस लड़की को प्रोटेक्ट करना चाह रहा था, ये सोच के कि ये अच्छी है, इसलिए मैंने शेयर नहीं किया था, बट अच्छा हुआ कि मैंने शेयर नहीं किया, ओके। एंड तभी वो और डिटरमाइंड होते हैं कि अब मैं इसी लड़की को यूज करके, ठीक है, उन लोगों को मिसगाइड करूंगा, उन लोगों को डिस्ट्रैक्ट करूंगा, और इसी को यूज करूंगा, और उन लोगों तक वही इंफॉर्मेशन पहुंचाऊंगा जो मैं चाहता हूं कि वो लोग जाने, ठीक है। तो बोलिए सानिया जी, इस तरह का सोच रखने वाला डिप्रेस का दी भी हो सकता है क्या?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं।
ओके, सो
Dipti, we can cut short it because I see you're not really keeping well, and I'm not. I want you to be healthy and then come again. So I was, I'm really grateful to you up here. I hope people there are so many people who've joined us, and they're all talking great about you. They are really, really feeling that you're a very brave woman. आपकी में बहुत लोगों ने लिखा है. रिंकू जी बोल रही हैं, मैम, you're brave. Please take care of yourself. Akansha ji बोल रही हैं, Sara बोल रही हैं, and they are saying please take care of your health. Everybody is really, so आपको more power to
नहीं,
you.
सानिया जी मैं एक बात बोलती हूँ, इन
Yeah.
स्लाइड्स में मैंने जो शेयर किया है, कुछ लोगों के नाम मैंने ओमिट किया है जो मुझे लगता है कि सुशांत का हेल्प कर रहे थे,
हाँ,
और उनका नाम अगर एक्सपोज होने से उनका लाइफ खतरे में होगा,
जी,
बट स्ट्रेंजली इन लोगों से मुझे कॉल्स आते हैं, ये लोग मुझे कांटेक्ट करके बोल रहे हैं व्हाई आर यू शेयरिंग द स्लाइड्स, दिस इज आवर वर्क, आवर टीम्स, कम ऑन। तुम लोगों को तो सुशांत को मारा गया, तुम लोग उसके बारे में कुछ नहीं बोलोगे, तुमको प्रॉब्लम हो गया मैं ये स्लाइड शेयर कर रही हूँ तो।
अच्छा, You mean those people who had supported him are calling you?
are asking me, they are blasting me. Who am I to poke my nose in between? Who am I to share these slides in public? This is not what Sushant wanted. They are telling me. अभी मैं उन लोगों से अथॉरिटी से, एजेंसी से, जो भी लोग हैं, जितने भी लोग देख रहे हैं, उन लोगों से, जनता से, आवाम से एक सवाल पूछूंगे, ठीक है? ये सब छुपा के आप करना क्या चाहते हैं? ये सब छुपा के आप करना क्या चाहते हैं? सुशांत ने ये सब डॉक्यूमेंट क्यों किया है? वो बार बार क्यों बोल रहे हैं कि मेरे फैंस मेरे खड़े होंगे, मैं फैंस के सामने ये सच लाऊंगा? ये सच एक्सपोज करने के लिए ही उनका जान गया है, राइट? Am I doing anything wrong by sharing these things in the public?
I absolutely don't think so, and I'm surprised that जो लोग उसकी मदद कर रहे थे, at least they should be glad. अगर वो नहीं खुद कर पा रहे हैं, आप कर रहे हो, तो वो आपको जो इतना बोल रहे हैं, that is also very strange for me.
और उन लोगों से मैं ये बोलना चाहती हूँ इस शो के, आई नो दे आर वाचिंग सानिया जी, ठीक है, कि अगर आप लोग मुझे ऐसे ही पेस्टर करोगे, then I will not care about you people's name coming out. जो स्लाइड्स में मैंने ओमिट किया वो भी आके मैं पढ़ूंगी, फिर आप अपना जानो जो जानना है। मेरा यहाँ पे शेयर करने का एक ही मतलब है, सुशांत जिसके लिए मरे हैं वो कितने महान हस्ती थे, कितना बड़ा सैक्रिफाइस दिया है उन्होंने। ही डजंट नीड टू, ही इज ए स्टार। इन लोगों के साथ वो ड्रग्स पार्टीज में जाते हैं, या छोड़िए, अक्षय कुमार भी ड्रग्स नहीं करते हैं, अक्षय कुमार भी पीते नहीं है, ठीक है, बट एटलीस्ट मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग में या फिर हवाला में हेल्प कर लेते, चुप रहते, उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलता, पैसे ऐशो आराम में रहते। किसके लिए उन्होंने ये सब किया? किसके लिए उन्होंने अपना जान दाव पे लगाया? और उन्हीं के सामने ये सब सच नहीं आएगा तो सुशांत को जस्टिस कैसे मिलेगा?
बिल्कुल।
ये जो टीम है उनका, वो वापस आके मुझे बोलता है, सुशांत ने लिखा है क्लियरली कि लेट दिस ऑल डाई डाउन, लेट द हुला बुला ऑफ अबाउट माय डेड डाई डाउन, तब एक्ट करेंगे। Why are you not following what Sushant has written? They are asking me. So are they expecting me to let Sushant's death go as suicide? इतना बड़ा सैक्रिफाइस लोग ना जाने। आपके शो में मेरे लेट आने का कारण भी वही था, हर तरफ से पॉन्डिंग हो रहा है मुझे। कभी कोई पैसा ऑफर करता है, कभी कोई थ्रेट्स देता है, कभी और एक तरीके से प्रेशराइज करता है। वहां पे कभी आईसीजे केस में जाके इस चीज को लेके शी इज ट्राइंग टू इंस्टिगेट पब्लिक बोल के। अच्छा, तो अभी मुझे 1000 बार सोचना पड़ रहा है कि मैं अभी शेयर करूं तो क्या करूं। मुझे डर लग रहा है। अगला जो स्लाइड्स है उसमें तो और भी खतरनाक नाम है। अच्छा, अभी जो फोर्सेस में है उनके नाम है, अभी जो पोजीशंस में उनके नाम है। अभी मुझे डर लग रहा है कि वो होने के बाद ना मेरा वो आईसीजे का केस भी अफेक्ट होगा और यहाँ से ये लोग मेरा दिमाग खाते रहेंगे। सोल्यूशन कहाँ है? एजेंसीज आर एक्टिंग ब्लाइंड, डेफ, डम। ऑथोरिटीज मुंह पट्टे लगा के बैठे हैं। I appreciate all that our government is doing. Recently, they have made the necessary changes that is required in the cabinet. Non-performers को निकाला, अच्छे लोग। That shows their intent. Yeah. और जो स्लाइड्स में कुछ नाम आए हैं, ये अलविरा खान, सलमान खान, दीनो मोरियो, इनके ऊपर ईडी का कार्रवाई भी हो रहा है, एनसीबी का कार्रवाई भी हो रहा है। I'm not saying that they are not doing anything. They are, but Sushant's, what about Sushant's death? What about the death of Sridevi? What about the death of Sandeep Nahar? What about death of Asif? What, what about death of Disha? दिशा का यहाँ पे क्लियरली बोला गया है क्लियर आई थिंक शी डाइड ऑन 8th
No, she
just
died just before 5th. She died on 5th.
yeah
He passed away 14th.
yeah she died on 5th or 8th or 7th
No, she died on 5th of June.
5th
8th
of June
हाँ 5th.
I'm not sure about it but उनके immediately बाद so see there is a way we can find out कि ये slide कब लिखा गया था
8th को वो गई थी ना, रिया चली गई थी घर से।
अच्छा
8th को रिया, 5th से पहले वो उसका दिशा का हुआ, तो वो सारे उसके बारे में आ रहा था। उसके बाद 5th को ये घर छोड़कर चली गई थी। और 13th 14th को पता नहीं 13th को डेथ हुई है 14th को, बट सुशांत का 14th को बोलते हैं।
13th what I heard is 13th actually
13th।
और मैं जहाँ से सुनी मुझे भी ये पता चला कि मतलब आई कैन नॉट से फॉर श्योर कि वो पुलिस स्टेशन भी गए थे सुशांत ने अप्रोच किया श्रीदेवी के केस में भी ये हुआ था शी हैड अप्रोच्ड वन एसीपी अनुरुद्ध चौहान जो तभी थे क्राइम ब्रांच में मुंबई क्राइम ब्रांच में और होता क्या है ये बंदा जाके अमर सिंह को बोलता है आके उल्टा वो श्रीदेवी जी को धमकी देते हैं कि तुमको पागल खाने में अगर तुम मीडिया में ये बात लेके आई तो हम सब लोग अपना पूरा ताकत लगा के प्रूव करेंगे कि दैट यू आर मैड यू आर मेंटली अनस्टेबल बी प्रिपेयर्ड टू स्पेंड योर एंटायर लाइफ इन द मेंटल हॉस्पिटल और उसके बाद उनके सारे डिवाइसेस एंड कनेक्शंस विद द वर्ल्ड इज कट श्रीदेवी जी ओके तो यहाँ पे मेरा एक सवाल है सुशांत जाते हैं अथॉरिटीज को कंप्लेन करने मार खा के आते हैं श्रीदेवी अथॉरिटीज को कंप्लेन करती है अथॉरिटीज जाके जो इन्वॉल्व है उन्हीं के पास जाते हैं बॉस हमारी रक्षा कौन करेगा ऐसा होगा तो क्राइम के खिलाफ क्यों आवाज उठाएंगे हम सब एक क्रिमिनल क्यों ना बन जाए चल क्या रहा है देश में चल क्या रहा है देश में
आई होप मोदी जी और बाकी के जो भी बिकॉज ये तो सीबीआई के जो हमारे जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है हमको स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का भी चिट्ठा पता चला है क्या हुआ है और हमें ये भी पता चल रहा है तो आई जस्ट होप हमारी उम्मीद तो मोदी जी ही है उनकी कैबिनेट है कि अगर ये सब कुछ वो कर सके तो एक उम्मीद
उम्मीद वही है इसलिए बार बार आके हम लोग बोल रहे हैं आवाज उठा रहे हैं मोदी जी कुछ कीजिए मोदी जी कुछ कीजिए but justice delayed is justice denied the easiest way to deny a justice is to delay it वही हो रहा है इंडिया में कोई केस कभी सॉल्व नहीं होता है ये जो चीज चल रहा है ना बॉलीवुड में जो सुशांत एक्सपोज करना चाह रहे थे इसके बारे में एनएन वोहरा ने 1993 में मुंबई ब्लास्ट होने के बाद वोहरा कमेटी रिपोर्ट में ये पूरा खुलासा किया था about this nexus between Bollywood, terrorists, underworld, hawala, money laundering. And then वोरा कमिटी रिपोर्ट बोल के मारिए some 2-3 pages ही आएंगे हजारों पेज का रिपोर्ट था वो it has not been worked अगर तभी काम किया होता तो इतने सारे डेथ्स होते नहीं सुशांत ये भी बोल रहे हैं दिव्या भारती का भी मर्डर है because she wanted to expose Sajid's involvement in the blast okay वो हो गया कुछ कुछ केसेस में वो लोग उनके फैमिली वालों को खरीद लेते हैं या उनको थ्रेटन कर देते हैं और कुछ कुछ केसेस में फैमिली खुद इन्वॉल्व होता है
जी जी बिल्कुल
तो इसीलिए उन्होंने अपने फैमिली को दूर रखा है सबसे ठीक है और यहाँ पे एक जायज सवाल बहुत सारे लोग कर रहे हैं कि जब सुशांत के जीजा एक कमिश्नर लेवल के ऑफिसर है जब उनका और एक जीजा या someone who is a lawyer I think
हाँ इंग्लिश to be lawyer हाँ ठीक है हाँ
why is nothing moving forward and this is a very valid question I would like to ask as well जब राबिया जी when the entire system was against her when the entire system wanted to close the case 8 साल से बिना किसी इन्फ्लुएंस के, only on the strength of her determination, she is standing tall.
Yeah.
सुशांत के तो फिर भी रिलेटिव्स हैं पोस्ट में. Why is nothing more? क्या ऐसा, what is it? क्या ऐसा प्रेशर है उनके ऊपर? मुझे पूछा जा रहा है कि अगर ये ड्राइव सच्चे हैं तो सीबीआई के पास क्यों नहीं, ये ड्राइव सच्चे हैं तो फैमिली के पास क्यों नहीं, ये ड्राइव सच्चे हैं तो लॉयर के पास क्यों नहीं. सबको मैं ट्रैक कर रही हूँ. आई एम टैगिंग एवरीवन. आई एम नॉट श्योर उनका फैमिली किस प्रेशर में है. वी कैन नेवर बी श्योर. बट व्हाट अबाउट द लॉयर? लॉयर को रिसेंटली प्रमोट किया गया सुप्रीम कोर्ट के बार एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट की तरह से. तो उनके बाद हमें एक उम्मीद जगी कि अभी एटलीस्ट हियरिंग्स, केस थोड़ा जल्दी चलेगा. Nothing.
He's not. He's refusing to answer. I had also called, but he's refusing to answer. So nothing to do. I mean, he's like, he's not at all. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what pressures. I don't
No.
understand what's going
Okay,
on.
let's say they're waiting for CBI to come to a conclusion. Okay. Even in that case, he can file or he can approach the Central Vigilance Commission asking for CBI to submit the findings as soon as possible because case is suffering.
Exactly.
Lawyer के हाथ में वो है.
बट मुझे ये नहीं समझ आ रहा दीप्ति कि आप इतने दिनों से ओपन बोल रही हैं कि आइए मेरे पास कुछ है आपको बताने के लिए. I don't understand this. कि I mean, why can't a lawyer who is a lawyer who has the authority to get the proofs? तो मिस्टर विकास आपके पास एक बार फोन भी नहीं किया कि ये कौन से प्रूफ्स है, आप जरा बताइए और क्या है. Isn't he interested? Because अगर वो, it's not that he's going to go against CBI's investigation if he communicates with you.
नहीं, but he can pressurize the CBI ना, through Central Vigilance Commission. CBI अगर सुन भी नहीं रहे हैं, ये proofs वो submit कर सकते हैं. अगर CBI बाद में कुछ और proceeding findings से आए अभी, then they can always say, then what about these proofs?
Yeah. I mean, if he takes a copy of proofs and then he sends it and say, this is something we've got, why don't you investigate this? Why?
Sanya ji, I'm telling you, I am short on resources, I'm short on time, but it is very much possible कि slide कब लिखा गया, एक slide कौन से तारीख को लिखा गया है, वो भी find out किया जा सकता है.
That's a very interesting thought.
That can also be found out. In the court, this can be an admissible evidence because it can be tracked. There are ways to track and find out that this belongs to Sushant.
Of course, digital में तो पूरा आता है ना, time, date, day, सब आ जाता है.
So again, जब जिया again यहाँ पे मैं बोलती हूँ, we should not be surprised because कौन सा केस है जो हमारे किसी भी एजेंसी ने सॉल्व किया है, हाई प्रोफाइल केस. जिया खान का केस ही ले लीजिए, ब्लैकबेरी का वो लोग कम्युनिकेशन डिटेल्स नहीं ला पाए.
बट देन ऑन द काउंटरी जो एंटिला का केस है तो उनको सब कर लिया.
क्या हुआ?
जो एंटिला का केस था वो तो सब कर लिया, उनका तो पानी से उठा कर ले आए सब कुछ. और यहाँ
ड्राइव्स पानी के अंदर से ले आए. यहाँ पे चिल्ला रही हूँ ड्राइव से, उनको लेने में तकलीफ हुई.
That's what they got out from the water when they're all were almost like really in a bad shape. Now everything is right in front of them, they are just blindfolding themselves. I don't understand the logic.
बस मैं रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ, मुझे मोदी जी से बहुत बहुत उम्मीदें हैं. बस एक बार एक मन की बात करें जिसमें वो हमारी मन की बात सुने.
सही.
हम उनका मन की बात सुन रहे हैं, हम उनके मन की बात से सहमत हैं, बट कभी कभी एक बार एक सेशन पब्लिक के साथ भी रख लीजिए कीजिए, उनके क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. As Sushant has mentioned in one of the slides, Modi ji is clean, it doesn't mean that he is surrounded by clean people.
Exactly.
There are jackals around him.
Yes.
नाम भी लिया है उन्होंने, बहुत बड़े बड़े नाम लिए, नेम लिए, और खाली पीली नहीं बोल रहे हैं वो. हम लोग सब देख रहे हैं. कोई भी केस हो, वो नेशनल हेराल्ड हो या फिर वो 2G हो, जो कभी भी कंक्लूजन तक आता नहीं है. ये आईएनएक्स मीडिया केस में फिर से चिदम्बरम को आज बुलाया गया है हियरिंग के लिए। इसी केस में आरटीआई का रिस्पॉन्स की असलियत दिखाने के लिए मैंने इसी केस में एक आरटीआई फाइल किया था। जब मेरे डिफेंस मिनिस्टर के लेटर के ऊपर आरटीआई फाइल हुआ था, मैंने तभी एक आरटीआई फाइल किया था। आईएनएक्स मीडिया केस में जब पीटर मुखर्जिया, वन ऑफ द एक्यूज्ड, जब उनके कहने पर चिदम्बरम को अरेस्ट किया गया, तो उन्होंने ही जब बताया कि आईएनएक्स मीडिया इज ओन्ड बाय अंबानीज, उनके ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं हुई? उनको क्वेश्चनिंग के लिए क्यों नहीं बुलाया गया? You know what the response of RTI got? We cannot answer this.
यही आप जो बता रहे हो कि एक इनके कोई कजन है सुशांत जी के, सुशांत सिंह राजपूत, उन्होंने भी आरटीआई किया फॉर नोइंग अबाउट व्हाट हैपेंड इन द हॉस्पिटल, कूपर हॉस्पिटल, तो उनको भी यही रिस्पांस मिला, वी आर नॉट सपोज्ड टू टेल यू दिस। तो ये आरटीआई का फायदा क्या है?
नहीं, और
राइट
एक चीज है,
है क्या?
नहीं और एक चीज है सानिया जी, पोस्टमार्टम 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 बोल रहे हैं ना, ठीक है, पोस्टमार्टम का एक प्रोसीजर होता है। हर किसी डेथ का पोस्टमार्टम नहीं हो सकता है। पोस्टमार्टम तभी होता है जब डेथ के रीजन में कुछ प्रॉब्लम, मतलब कुछ अनबन है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है
जी।
तो ये जो पोस्टमार्टम जो होता है ना, उसके दो प्रोसीजर्स, एक उसका एंट्री होना चाहिए हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री में, डिपार्टमेंट में, हर एक पोस्टमार्टम का एंट्री होता है, उसका वीडियोग्राफी भी होता है। सुशांत के केस में वीडियोग्राफी है। जो पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट निकला है उसको वैलिडेट करने के लिए वो वीडियो कहाँ है?
बिल्कुल,
दिस इज मैंडेटरी,
वो
दिस इज मैंडेटरी।
दे आर टॉकिंग ड्यूरिंग द ये कोविड में ये हो गया वो हो गया, दे जस्ट दे जस्ट टॉकिंग, दे आर जस्ट टॉकिंग, दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम। आप सोचो कि ही इज सच अ हाई प्रोफाइल, सच एन वेल ऑफ पर्सन, उसके कहीं किसी घर में कोई कैमरा नहीं, उसके बिल्डिंग में कोई कैमरा नहीं, उसके किसी भी चीज में कोई कुछ है ही नहीं। सोचो, दिस इज सो रिडिकुलस। आप सोच सकते हो इस बात को कि ही स्टेइंग वन ऑफ द बेस्ट एरियाज इन बॉम्बे, वहां कोई है ही नहीं, सडनली सब खत्म। ऐसे कभी कुछ होता है क्या? आई मीन सब कुछ इन्हीं के साथ हो रहा है। So I'm saying this is, any normal person who doesn't even have normal common brain will understand with some common sense that something is being hidden and they don't want the truth to come out.
ये
And
इंडिया में हुआ, ये इंडिया में हुआ बोल के ऐसे मैनिपुलेट किया गया है इन्वेस्टिगेशंस। लेकिन श्रीदेवी जी के केस में आई हैव आई विटनेसेस, आई हैव द ओरिजिनल रिकॉर्ड्स, ओरिजिनल हेल्थ, मतलब दुबई हेल्थ अथॉरिटी के रिकॉर्ड्स है मेरे पास, प्रूफ्स, वीडियो है, मर्डर वीडियो विच इज इन द कोर्ट नाउ। इतने सब फैक्ट्स लाने के बावजूद मैं गिर पड़ रही हूँ 2018 से एक हियरिंग के लिए।
अच्छा,
प्रूफ से तो हियरिंग नहीं मिलता है, और अगर क्राइम यहाँ पे हुआ तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन सही से होता नहीं। अब लोग मुझे पूछ रहे मेरा क्या जाता है, व्हाई एम आई गेटिंग इनटू ऑल दिस, मैं इसमें क्यों जा रही? मुझे सिर्फ समझ में ये नहीं आ रहा है कि जो मेरा 8 साल का बच्चा है मैं उसको क्या सिखा के बड़ा करूं, क्या वैल्यू सिखाऊं? मैं उसको क्या सिखाऊं? ये सिखाऊं कि जो पावर में है उनका तलवे चाटो, वो जो बोलते हैं वो करो, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ वेदर इट इज राइट और रॉन्ग, देन यू विल बी सेफ, वो सिखाऊं? या मुझे डर लग रहा है कि सुशांत की माँ ने जिसे उनको सिखाया था कि मतलब वैल्यूज, सोसाइटी वैल्यूज के साथ सिखाया, मुझे लग उसके साथ सिखाऊंगी तो इसके साथ क्या होगा अगर यही सिचुएशन रहा तो?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। और दीप्ति जी, आई एम टेलिंग यू कि मैं जो लोग सुन रहे हैं, आपको कोई बाल आंचा भी आया तो ये सारे लोग, ये सब लोग, मैं आई मीन आई एम बीइंग वेरी इमोशनल राइट नाउ एट दिस मोमेंट। I'm saying that you are a woman who is trying to say something and you're not being heard. I'm telling if something goes wrong with you, each one of them, जो चुप हैं, I mean, I don't know, भगवान ना करे कुछ होए, I'm just saying because this happened to Sushant, this has happened to Disha, this happened to Asif. He was also fighting for justice. आप भी justice के लिए लड़ रही हैं और आप तो openly आकर कर रही हैं. वो तो openly नहीं कर रहे थे. तो मुझे ये है कि nothing is going to, because ये सब जो सुन रहे हैं ना, because everybody is watching you, listening to you, they are seeing कि ये तो एक नारी हैं, किसी कोई इनको जानता नहीं है, ये पता नहीं कौन से कहीं से उठकर आ गई हैं. बट वो सुशांत भी कहीं से उठकर ऐसे ही आया था. उसका भी कोई बिज़नेस नहीं था, जब उसने अपना बिज़नेस बना लिया था. यू नो सो एवरीबॉडी, बिकॉज़ जिनके दिल में ईमान होता है, जिनके दिल में ज़मीर होता है, जिसके कॉन्शियस होती है, वो कभी ये बर्दाश्त कर ही नहीं सकता. और इन लोगों के जैसे फ़ियर्स में रहकर ये लोग डर डर इनके अंदर है, तो वो डर से रूल कर रहे हैं. बट आप जैसे लोग, ये सुशांत जैसे लोग, डर का उनका है ही नहीं स्टेटस. उनको कोई डिप्रेशन झोल ही, वो बहुत कर रहा था. आप भी जो ये बात कर रही हैं, एज़ अ मदर कर रही हैं, एज़ एन पर्सन जिनकी आपकी भी वैल्यूज़ कुछ और मिली हैं आपको, तभी आज आप यहाँ खड़ी हुई हैं. आपने किसी और का बिज़नेस, अपना बिज़नेस बना लिया है.
नहीं सानिया जी, ये किसी और का बिजनेस नहीं है, ये
जी,
हमारा ही बिजनेस है.
जी, जी.
वी आर लिविंग इन दिस वर्ल्ड.
हाँ,
ओके,
जी,
एवरीथिंग हैज एन इफेक्ट. ठीक है,
जी, बिल्कुल.
अभी जो आप देख रहे हैं, ये जो वाइल्ड फायर्स, ये जो हर आए दिन तूफान, हर आए दिन साइक्लोन,
जी,
हर आए दिन ये, सी this earth has enough to meet everyone's needs,
एग्ज़ैक्टली,
but it doesn't have enough to meet a single person's greed.
एग्ज़ैक्टली. आई एम विद यू.
कुछ मुट्ठी भर के लोग ग्रीड, इतना ग्रीड हो गया उनको
जी,
कि लोगों को खाने को नहीं मिल रहा है. See, this
जी,
all is connected.
जी, 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 जी,
जो भी जो जिसका भी थोड़ा फोरसाइट है ना,
जी,
कि इस तरह का सेल्फिश, जो जितना चाहे अपने लिए ले लो, जितना चाहे अपने लिए ले लो, बाकी
जी,
लोग भाड़ में जाए, दैट
जी,
इज नॉट सस्टेनेबल.
नहीं,
दैट इज नॉट सस्टेनेबल.
आई एम विद यू, आई एम विद यू. दीप्ति
दैट
जी,
इज नॉट सस्टेनेबल.
आई एम टोटली विद यू. जो मैंने इनको, ये जो लोग जो हैं, जो सुन रहे हैं, जो आपको बंद कर रहे हैं, मैं उनके लिए बोल रही हूँ कि आपने किसी और का बिज़नेस अपने ऊपर क्यों लिया? ये आंसर तो आपने दे दिया, क्योंकि जो एक सेंसिबल, जो एक समझता है ना, जो एक बात सस्टेनेबल लिविंग करता है, जो कहता है लिव एंड लेट लिव कहता है, उसके लिए तो दूसरों का बिज़नेस अपना बिज़नेस बन जाता है ना, क्योंकि जब कोई अपना बिज़नेस ही नहीं सँभाल पा रहा, जो अपना बिज़नेस है, मतलब कि थोड़े में रहना सीखो, ग्रीड को कम करो, वो बिज़नेस है हमारा। बट लोग तो कर नहीं रहे ना। लोगों को तो ग्रीडी बनना है, लोगों को तो सबका खाना है। तो फिर आप जैसे लोग आएँगे ही, आप जैसे लोग आएँगे ही। वो जो हम कह रहे हैं ना, दैट इज़ व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से दीप्ति जी, दैट आई एम कंसर्न्ड टुडे बिकॉज़ आप, आई एम कंसर्न्ड, आई एम रियली, आई डोंट नो। आई एम कनेक्टेड विद यू, यू नो, आई डोंट केयर व्हाट पीपल आर सेइंग। मुझे नहीं पता। मुझे चाहिए कि कोई अथॉरिटी, कोई रेगुलेटेड पर्सन आपसे मिले। ये मेरी ये मेरी पर्सनल रिक्वेस्ट है। एज़ अ सिटिज़न ऑफ इंडिया, एज़ अ बोर्न एंड ब्रॉट अप इन इंडिया, मैं चाहूँगी कि कोई वैलिड इंसान आपसे बात करे, आपकी सुने, आपको पूछे कि आप क्या बोलना चाहती हैं। एट लीस्ट दिस इज़ द फर्स्ट स्टेप टू बी डन बाय द अथॉरिटीज़, बाय द एजेंसीज़, बाय द पीपल हू आर कंसर्न्ड इन द थिंग। ये इसीलिए मैं चिल्ला-चिल्ला कर, इसलिए मैं आपको फ़ोन करती रहती हूँ कि दीप्ति जी आओ। मैं ही बोलती हूँ, आपने तो कभी मुझे बुलाया ही नहीं, बोला ही नहीं कि मुझे बुलाओ। सो इफ यू आर नॉट इवन इंटरेस्टेड टू टॉक टू मी, टेल मी वन थिंग, यू डोंट इवन, आप गई बाहर क्योंकि आपने कहा कि चलो कोई लोग सुनेगा बात तो ये केस जाएगा। आपने वो भी बंद कर दिया। आप तो, आई एम द पर्सन हू इज़ कमिंग आउट एंड सेइंग दीप्ति जी बोलिए, तो फिर आप बोलते हैं कि, क्योंकि आई एम टेलिंग ऑनेस्टली टू द वर्ल्ड दैट if the truth has to come out, is the right people have to check to the person at least जो बोल रहा है, at least उसको सुने तो सही ना, उसको सुने तो सही। मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि हमारा काम थोड़ी है, मैं ये मेरा काम थोड़ी है दीप्ति जी से बात करना, ये तो एजेंसीज का काम है, क्योंकि कोई बात नहीं कर रहा है, जैसे आप बोल रही थी, कोई बोल नहीं रहा है, तो मैं आ गई हूँ, जैसे आप आ गई हैं। अगर कोई अपना काम करेगा, तो हम लोगों को, कॉमन मैन आदमी को बोलने की क्या ज़रूरत है? आप बताइए।
नहीं, श्रीदेवी जी के केस में भी मैंने जब डिफरेंट डिफरेंट अथॉरिटीज से मिली, बात करी,
जी,
वो लोग तुम्हारा क्या जाता है, उनका फैमिली कंसर्न है, तुमको क्या पड़ी है.
जी,
दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन एवरीवन आस्क्ड मी.
देखिए,
ठीक है,
देखिए,
मैं बोली अगर उनके फैमिली ही अगर एक्ट करता तो मुझे आने की जरूरत क्या पड़ती.
एग्ज़ैक्टली, एग्ज़ैक्टली,
और
एग्ज़
एक बात बोलूं मैं आपको,
जी, जी, जी,
सी लेट अस सी दिस इज वन वर्ल्ड. और किस मतलब हिंदुत्व या जो भी हो रिलीजन बोले, वासुदेव कुटुंबम, वी आर
जी,
वन फैमिली.
जी,
ओके, वी आर नॉट आइसोलेटेड फ्रॉम वन अनदर.
नहीं,
स्पेशली ये जो मास्क, ये कम्युनिकेशन डिवाइसेस टेक्नोलॉजी से हम लोग और क्लोज निट हो चुके हैं.
बिल्कुल
सो
बिल्कुल
इट कैंट हैपन कि एक जगह अगर कुछ गलत हो रहा है हमको इफेक्ट ना करे.
बिल्कुल सही.
एक सिंपल एग्जांपल दूंगी. अभी लोग सोचेंगे शायद, ठीक है, अभी तमिलनाडु में रहने वाला कोई सोचेगा अरे वो तो हिंदी इंडस्ट्री, बॉलीवुड इंडस्ट्री में चल रहा है. वही लोग अभी तेलुगु वालों के पास जा रहे हैं.
जी
तो अभी मैं बोलती हूँ एक अपार्टमेंट में हम लोग रह रहे हैं, मैं जाके 13th फ्लोर में रहती हूँ, आप फर्स्ट फ्लोर में रह रहे हैं, ठीक है. मैं 13th फ्लोर में 2 मिनट्स, मैं 13th फ्लोर में
हाँ,
मैं 13th फ्लोर में जाके दोस्तों को बुलाऊंगी,
जी जी
ड्रग्स वक्स करूंगी, लाउड म्यूजिक लगाऊंगी, पार्टी शार्टी करूंगी. नीचे आपके घर में बच्चे, आपके फ्लोर में बच्चे, ये सब है. विल यू गो अहेड एंड कंप्लेन टू द कंपनी, सोसाइटी और नॉट?
एब्सोल्युटली.
और अगर सोसाइटी को बोलने के बावजूद वो अनसुना कर रहा है, क्योंकि वो कंपनी का जो मतलब सोसाइटी का जो हेड है वो भी जाके कभी कभी बीच में पार्टी करता है उनके साथ,
जी जी
वो अनसुना कर रहा है, तो आप लोग छोड़ देंगे? नो. विल यू से कि 13th फ्लोर में हो रहा है हमारे बच्चे, मैं यहाँ पे उनको बंद करके रखूं? विल यू लीव इट?
नो.
इट विल कम डाउन, राइट?
या सही सही. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. ये I mean this is such a point that I think किन्हीं की आंखें, किन्हीं का कान जब बंद कर आप बैठोगे तो जो बेसिक जो हमारी सेंसिबिलिटी तो बंद हो जाती है ना. ये जो आप बात कर रही हैं, हम तो सब कनेक्टेड हैं ही. कैसे हो सकता है कि हम कनेक्टेड नहीं हैं? तो ये तो बात आपने सही कही. आपने बहुत बड़ी स्पिरिचुअल बात कह दी है. इवन स्पिरिचुअली, टेक्निकली, फिजिकली सब जगह हम कनेक्टेड ही कनेक्टेड हैं. पर हम आपने जो बोला ना, ईगोज़ ईगोज़, फियर्स और ग्रीड, ये सब चीज़ों को हमको हम लोग इस फँसे रहते हैं इन सब चीज़ों पे. और यही सुशांत वाज़ नॉट इन्वॉल्व्ड. ही वाज़ नॉट अ ग्रीडी बॉय. वो तो पता चलता ही है, वो क्या करता रहता था. उसके अंदर तो कोई ईगो भी नहीं थी. वो तभी इतने गंदे लोगों के बीच में रहकर भी वो उनको पालता था. ईगो होता तो
नहीं, उनका एक कहना है बार बार
हुँ,
कि द ओनली ओपिनियन आई हैव अबाउट माई सेल्फ इज आई डोंट हैव एनी ओपिनियन. दिस सम्स इट अप. ही हैज टोल्ड दिस. अब सोशल मीडिया में भी बोला है, उनके स्लाइड्स में भी उन्होंने लिखा है.
हुँ, हुँ, हुँ,
और उनका बस एक ही मतलब है, वो एक संदेश देते हैं सबको,
हुँ,
सबको. वो एक लास्ट संदेश के साथ मैं शो खत्म करना चाहूंगी.
जी,
Okay. While writing this too, I have one request for a message to be spread through the person who is reading this. Because this message I feel is the need of the hour in our country. And not just our country. This message is the need of the hour for the entire humanity. And I feel this message can sum up my life. Some can sum my life up to the life I have lived so far and the life I will continue to live. The message is, when you feel you are left alone, when you feel you are falling apart, when you feel that all your efforts have gone down the drain, and when you feel that everything is over, remember three things always are in you, and that can get you back from any situation, any condition, or any problem that you are in. These three things are thoughts, words, action.
जी,
Positivity in your thoughts, as this can do the trick for you. In most of the cases, though it might look theoretical, but the fact is that if you have positivity in your attitude, it is this positivity that will help you stand strong. And this can multiply it. And this can multiply. It is very important that you know what your limits are. But these limits should be only for your body, not for your thoughts. If you try to limit your thoughts, then only limit your negative thoughts, because your positive thoughts are the one that can win you any battle. All you need to understand here is that one positive approach towards any problem, no matter however big the problem is, means actually half the problem is solved. Looks difficult, but with difficulty comes challenges, and with challenges comes excellence, and excellence can make our success permanent. And this is how you can emerge out of any situation and come out as a winner.
जी,
So
जी,
उनका जो है वो यही कहते हैं कि कोई इंसान पैदाशी स्पेशल या पैदाशी वीक या पैदाशी ओके, दे डोंट. These things are equally in everyone. मेरा भी यही कहना है
बिल्कुल
कि जो मतलब जो भीख मांगता है, जो रिक्शा चलाता है, उसके पास भी दिन में 24 घंटे हैं. टाटा, मोदी जी, बाइडेन, इनके पास भी 24 घंटे हैं. द ओनली थिंग विच मैटर्स इज दैट आपके पास जो रिसोर्सेस हैं, आप इस 24 घंटे में उसके साथ कर क्या रहे हैं.
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
तो मेरा लोगों से यही मानना है कि नाउ दैट वी हैव बीन फेल्ड सिंस डिकेड्स by the people or the systems that have been ruling us, let us unlearn. हम लोग unlearn करके नए सिरे से शुरुआत करते हैं अभी. let us come and sit. हम सब कंसर्न है, सभी तो हम लोग देख रहे हैं ये शो. आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं, हम लोग ये शोज कर रहे हैं. now let us now it is very clear that the intent is not there to solve any case
यस
because big names are involved.
या
so अभी हम ये सोचते हैं कि हम लोगों को क्या करना है.
जी
we should not be okay with it. never.
नो नो
This has to change.
यस
Change के लिए क्या करना है? Let us
जी
all brainstorm on that.
यस
We
लेट्स
cannot let Sushant's sacrifice go in vain.
absolutely absolutely and I think Deepti ji, I know you've got your child and I know you're not feeling well and I just want to say lots of thanks to you and I want you to go back and please drink warm tea and
Yes, sure.
be with your child and give him whatever love and support he needs right now from you and take
Sure.
care of yourself and we
Thank you,
are
Sanya ji.
with you with the spirit with the intention and you're doing a great job. Hats off to you. Thank you
Thank
so
you, Sanya ji. Thank you for being what you are. Just continue this good work. मुझे आप में वो तपिश दिखती है कि लोगों तक क्यों नहीं पहुंच रहा, हम लोग आवाज क्यों नहीं उठा रहे. और इस प्लेटफॉर्म के लिए रियली हैट्स ऑफ एंड मेनी मेनी थैंक्स टू यू. यू आर समवन जो शोज नहीं करता है सिर्फ शोज करने के लिए. करना है, हर दिन करना है, मुझे इतना व्यूअर्स आना नहीं. Unless and until you feel strongly about a cause, you don't do it. And hats off to you for that. Thank you.
hats off to you, my sister. Thank you so much, Deepti. Take care. Lots of love to you.
Take care.
Bye.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Good night. This was Deepti ji, who is actually, doing such a wonderful job. She is actually fighting for the cause that I believe in. I believe personally that the justice must be served. The truth has to come out. And with the means we have, we're going to do. We have more means, less means, it doesn't matter. जैसे सुशांत कहते हैं कि एक पॉजिटिव होकर टुगेदरनेस में हम कुछ भी जीत सकते हैं. जितना हम कर सकते हैं हम करेंगे. हम अपनी आवाज उठा सकते हैं हम आवाज उठाएंगे. हम अपनी कलम से लिखेंगे. हम अपनी जुबान से बोलेंगे. हम अगर फिजिकल प्रेजेंट है तो इंडिया में हम जो अथॉरिटीज हम उनके पास जाएंगे. जो कुछ भी हम कर सकते हैं हम वो करेंगे. बट हम चुप नहीं रहेंगे. और हम जो भी हमें फेलियर्स मिलते हैं इस जगह में, अभी 1 साल हो गया, जिया खान का 8 साल हो गया, दिशा का कोई पता ही नहीं. और भी ऐसे लोग हैं जो जस्ट चले गए हमें छोड़कर, जिनका जो जी सकते थे, जो इस सोसाइटी को एक बेहतर प्लेस बना सकते थे, जो हमारे आगे आने वाली जनरेशंस के लिए इंस्पिरेशन बन सकते थे, उनको बस हटा दिया गया. सिर्फ अपनी एक ग्रीड, अपने फियर्स, अपनी पावर हंगर के लिए नहीं. ये एक्सेप्टेबल है ही नहीं. वी विल नेवर एक्सेप्ट दिस एंड वी विल ऑलवेज continue raising our voices against the injustice in the society, what may come. Sushant is an emblem for that. And मैं यहाँ पर सिर्फ सुशांत के लिए नहीं, मैं सुशांत के लिए तो आई हूँ. मैं सुशांत के अलावा बाकी के जितने भी केसेस, अननेम्ड केसेस, मैं उन सब के लिए मैं अपनी आवाज उठाना चाहती हूँ. क्योंकि मैं अपनी बॉटम ऑफ माई हार्ट से मैं चाहती हूँ कि ये सोसाइटी, जिस सोसाइटी में हम रहते हैं, और जब मैं और आप अपने बच्चों के लिए सोसाइटी छोड़ जाएं तो हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं होएगा. बस इतना होएगा कि हमने सच के लिए लड़ाई करी. वही मेरी जो होगी काम, मैं उस काम को अपनी पूंजी, अपनी लेजेंड समझकर अपने बच्चों को देकर जाना चाहती हूँ. क्योंकि मैं ये बहुत मानती हूँ कि जिंदगी में बाकी सब कुछ मिलता है और मिटता है, सिर्फ अपनी सोच और अपने वैल्यूज कभी नहीं मिट सकते. और वो वैल्यूज पे जो चल लेते हैं वो सुशांत सिंह राजपूत बन जाते हैं. तो हम सब और बाकी के भी जो लोग, हमारे जो इतने अच्छे रवि, हमारे जो शास्त्री जी थे, हमारे जो फ्रीडम फाइटर्स थे, हमारे इतने अच्छे अच्छे लोग हैं, डॉक्टर अंबेडकर जी थे, हमारे हमारे जो इतने लोग जो हमारी भारत के लिए लड़ाई करे, उन्होंने क्या था, उनके पास वैल्यू थी, उनके पास गुर्दा था, उनके पास अंदर की शक्ति थी, मोटिवेशन थी। उसी शक्ति से आज हम इस गंदी सोच से, हमारी फ्रीडम फाइट है, हम एक फाइट फ्रीडम के लिए कर रहे हैं गंदी सोच से। जो पावर हंग्री लोग हैं, जो एक रेड टेपिज्म को एडवांस करते हैं, जो गुंडागर्दी को करते हैं, जो ड्रग्स, जो प्रोस्टिट्यूशन, चाइल्ड प्रोस्टिट्यूशन, फीमेल प्रोस्टिट्यूशन, ह्यूमन प्रोस्टिट्यूशन, ह्यूमन मिसहैंडल, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग, इन सबको बढ़ावा देते हैं। हम उन सब चीजों से फाइट करना चाहते हैं। वही हमारी रियल फ्रीडम है। हम एक सोसाइटी बनाना चाहते हैं जो कि हमारे बच्चों के लिए एक हेल्दी सोसाइटी हो, मेंटली, स्पिरिचुअली, हेल्थ की। ये कोई आइडियलिस्टिक थॉट नहीं है, ये एक नॉर्मल थॉट है। हमें इसको आइडियलिस्टिक थॉट बन गया है बिकॉज हम आदी हो गए हैं गलत लोग, गलत चीजों के लिए। हमको गलत नॉर्मल लगता है, और जो नॉर्मल है उसको हम कहते हैं कि ये तो कहाँ, ये तो किताबों वाली बात है। नहीं, एबनॉर्मल चीजों को हमें फाइट करना है। वी हैव टू फाइट द एबनॉर्मैलिटी। वी कैनॉट मेक एबनॉर्मल एज आवर नॉर्मल। वी कैनॉट। We have to fight that it is not okay. And this is for our generation, this is for our future generation, because we want to create a society which is made of respect, which is made of satisfaction and togetherness. We are not greedy. We don't need to be greedy. We are happy the way we have. We have to find that thread in us, that हमारे अंदर का जो जमीर है उसको जगा कर रखना है, उसको मारना नहीं है। फियर से हमें डरना नहीं है। हम एक सोसाइटी बनाना चाहते हैं जिसमें हम एक दूसरे की रिस्पेक्ट करें, जिसमें हम अपने को देखें, अपने अंदर झांके और सही काम करने की शक्ति रखें, सच बोलने की शक्ति रखें, और जहां अनजस्टिस है उसके लिए हम लड़कर जस्टिस लाए। यही सोच से मैं आज अपना चैनल, अपना ये प्रोग्राम बंद करूंगी। मैं यही चाहूंगी कि आप सब अपना ध्यान रखें, अपने आप, अपनी हेल्थ का ध्यान रखें, अपने बच्चों का ध्यान रखें, अपनी फैमिली को प्यार से रखें, और अपने आप को बहुत शिद्दत से रखें, प्यार रखें। और भगवान से यही प्रार्थना करूंगी, ईश्वर, अल्लाह, गॉड, जो भी है ऊपर, उन सब से यही मेरी प्रार्थना है कि हमें सही बुद्धि दे, जिससे कि हमारे अंदर शक्ति आए, हमारे अंदर फियर ना आए। Thank you so much for everybody, and lots of love to you. This is me, Sanya Raj, signing off for today's program. Namaskar, Jai Hind.